back, Cole, I can mute his mic. That would be awesome. Okay. So if it just stays there.
Yeah, then just watch your levels. So you can unmute. That's Jay Rick.
Right, I got it.
Send when he's sending something, which he is now. But we're not seeing
your Jets. He wears number 23. Please welcome. Look. And tonight at wide receiver and defensive back, number 6, Josh Best. And the quarterback tonight, he is so versatile. Number 8 tonight, Damani Benson. If you're looking for a wide receiver, don't look any further. Number 9, Gary Brown. At wide receiver, number 10, oh my, Tyrone Lappin-House.
Okay, these two down here, if we need to turn.
The Billings Outlaws has number 11, defensive back, Roderick Jarrett. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the best players we've ever had with the Billings Outlaws. He wears number 15. Get up on your feet, Claude Davis. Number 21 tonight is your running back. He is smooth, he is fast, he is Troy Evans Jr. Defensive back for your Billings Outlaws, number 32, Billy Eaton. Yes, we have a kicker tonight. Please welcome to Billings, Montana, number 34, Jimmy Gaskowski. The man, the myth, the defensive end, the number 43, Ladarius Harris. The hardest working man on the offensive line, number 52, Jordan Mosley. The offensive line, he wears number 54. We call him Mr. Richard Ramirez. Ladies and gentlemen, offensive line, number 55, the big daddy of the Outlaws, Anthony Jackson. On the offensive line, number 58, Nike Good. As a wide receiver tonight, he wears number 83, Nate Sipka. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Billings, Montana, the star, the son of Mitch Donahue, the NFL, the player, the man, the legend, number 49, defensive end, Dylan Donahue. Wait a minute, Dylan, you got something to do here tonight? Dylan, what are we doing here tonight? Ladies and gentlemen, Dylan has just proposed tonight to McKenna. Ladies and gentlemen, your Billings Outlaws.
Congrats.
Congrats. Yes, she did. She said yes. Oh, you're fine.
Well, the question everybody wants to know, Dylan, did she say yes? Dylan, did she say yes? Yes, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise, remove your hats, and we salute and honor our country with the national anthem. Our color guard is presented by Warrior Wishes of Montana, accompanied by Young Marines. Singing tonight, Billings' own Olivia Hoppe.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Olivia Hoppe. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's game, it is brought to you by Brown Plumbing, and of course, it is owned by Steve Foster. But tonight, we welcome a new player to the Billings Outlaws. You have seen some different things that have happened in the media lately. Want to thank you very much for your support. And tonight, we have a new owner for the Billings Outlaws. His name is Steve Titus, and he guarantees we'll have the Billings Outlaws. And we need Steve to come out here and throw a pass and score a touchdown for the Billings Outlaws.
Well, the pregame festivities just wrapping up, and we welcome you to the final regular season game for the Billings Outlaws here inside the big barn at the Billings Metro. It's the Billings Outlaws versus the Wyoming Mustangs, the final regular season game, and it's been a busy week, we can put it that way. Jay Cohn along with Rick Holmes here tonight, and we're here to have some fun on a Saturday with the final regular season game just about to kick off here inside the Metro Park. Rick, always good to have you along, and to say it's been a busy week full of drama is the understatement of the year, perhaps, of this Billings Outlaws team.
Yeah, I don't know if in this case all press is good press. I've heard that, but I don't know in this case if it is. However, I think it's all going to turn out good. Steve Titus, who's now purchased the Outlaws as well as both teams here tonight.
And here he is right here shaking hands with the players. So a very unique situation where Stephen Titus and his ownership group, they own both of these teams. And that's not how things started out at the start of the year, but needless to say, the Billings team is happy to have new leadership that perhaps will be a little more financially stable.
Right, and there have been coaching changes here. As you know, Brian Schmidt got sick, so
right, guys,
Theo Johnson's taken over. But Wyoming has kind of had a difficult time from day one. After they started 0-3, I believe after 0-2, the former owner here, the former owner there, Keith Russ, fired his coach, hired Steve Titus, then bought the team. He hired Del Shelstad. They lost Michael Coleman because Coleman didn't win any games. The Wyoming started out 0-4. And now, of course, Cedric Walker is leading the Wyoming Mustangs. And, you know, they got shellacked one game 82-34. Came back and played Omaha again and lost by a touch. So they're improving. This could be, I hope the Outlaws aren't overlooking this game because the Mustangs really can run the ball.
Well, the Outlaws come in a little bit banged up, and of course with the drama of the ownership change over the past week, some of the players that are inactive are of note, including quarterback Charles McCullum, also wide receiver Jaron McGaw sitting out this game, along with defensive back Winston Green. We're told those players are nursing injuries and weighing their options as the playoffs loom next weekend. But those are big shoes to fill offensively for the Outlaws. McCullum with over 40 touchdowns, and McGaw, one of his favorite targets.
And I believe Winston Green has left the team. I talked to him on Thursday over at the Sportsplex, and he had some business issues. I think he had to go home, so I believe he's been released. But the other three are sitting this one out because of injuries. I don't know how, honestly, McCullum has been playing these last few games. I was over at the training room on Monday. He had ice and bandages all the way up his his right wrist and on his left knee. I don't know how he's been playing.
Well,
pure guts.
This game, Rick, as you know, could be a hint of things to come in the playoffs. The playoffs start next week in the CIF. Both Wyoming and Billings vying for playoff position here, and it remains to be seen, but there's a very good chance these two teams could meet again next weekend. So for McCullum to sit this out might be an advantage, actually, down the road if, in fact, these two teams meet again.
Right. And it's going to be a tale of two sides of the ball. Offensively, we lead the league in most of the passing categories. Wyoming leads the league in most rushing categories.
Well, they're just about to kick it off here. The kicker for the Mustangs boots it. And Josh Best takes it at the 5, breaks it right up the middle, outside at the 15, still on his feet, gets another block, and he's across midfield, and a penalty flag flies as Best gets it down to around the 21-yard line.
That's a flash of some 4.3 speed. That's why he's been playing a little bit offense lately. He's just so fast.
Eric Ruiz is the kicker for the Mustangs. He's 14 of 17 in the extra point department. He's from Adams State. This is his 5th game for Wyoming.
You know, Adams State down there in Colorado is in the RMAC conference, and he actually was a defensive back. He played a lot of football. He's a good kicker, but he can also play defense.
Okay, well, it'll come in handy here in the CIF, where many times players are required to fill in on both sides of the ball. So here we go. That penalty went against the Outlaws, backs them up to the 20, and that's where they'll put it in play. The backup quarterback, Jamario Benson, is be calling the signals for Billings with McCullum out. Benson has seen some action. He's 4 of 8 in the passing department, 50% accuracy. He has scored 1 touchdown, and he's also run in a touchdown. So he's got some experience. He doesn't have the experience that McCullum had, so it'll be interesting. In the backfield alongside Benson is Troy Evans Jr., number 21. He'll be featured in the running game. Right now he's in the passing game. Here's the pass to Laughing House on the left-hand side, complete. Well, that's Nate Simpkins, excuse me. So the young man from Montana Western, from Dillon, gets his first taste of action here tonight and gets the first pass for a complete. And Benson is 1 for 1 in the game so far.
And we're going to see a lot of Krishawn Frazier tonight. He's an outstanding linebacker.
Here's the give to Evans, who breaks a tackle and breaks into the middle across the 20.
You know, Troy's not listed on the stat sheet because he hasn't been around long enough, but the leading rusher in the league is Champ Taylor from Wyoming. Troy's carry average so far is about a yard better.
Number 25, Timon Lachlan on the tackle that time. He's one of the leading tacklers for the Mustangs. So Jamario Benson sends his receivers downfield, and he'll give it to Evans, who breaks through on a great block on the left-hand side of the line and blasts into the boards at the 13-yard line. Very close to the yard to gain, the first down marker, just a few yards away. So that'll bring up.
Boy, that's as good a push as you're going to see 2 offensive linemen have. Richard Ramirez and Anthony Jackson just bulldozed the 2 D linemen over the top of them.
We've seen 2 out of the 3 plays for the Outlaws running plays, so we'll see if perhaps that's a hint of things to come. Here's Benson with a pass to Gary Brown, down inside the 5, good for the first down and good for first and goal. Gary Brown with his first reception down inside the 5-yard line. Benson got that quick pass out, and the defense, all they could do is just try to make those tackles.
Christian Hunter Coppin is actually the only player on both teams. It's actually from Wilfrid Laurier College in Ontario. Played all his football, high school, and college in Canada.
Jamario Benson, your quarterback here for the Outlaws tonight. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds, from Holmes Community College. He calls the signals right here, and he's going to run it. And he breaks back into the middle and scores. 12-14 here in the first quarter, and Jamario Benson shows he's a multi-threat as the athlete because he can pass the ball and he can run the ball. You can see some good blocking up. That was wide open up the middle that
All
time,
3
right?
linemen just stuck and stayed. They got into the grills of the 3D linemen and just opened it up.
So you have to like how the Outlaws got started here, and despite missing their star quarterback, Jamario Benson comes down and marches them right down the field.
And now our new kicker's going to have an attempt, huh? How do you say that name, Kalzaski?
I'll get back with you on that.
Jimmy Kalzaski?
Kozalski. All the kickers wear number 34, and that extra point is good, and the fans here enjoy that after going through an entire game last weekend without a kicker.
Gotta love it. You know, you mentioned earlier that Timon Lachlan is a good tackler. He leads the league.
Here comes that replay on the scoring touchdown here. Benson sends his receivers in motion. Watch this open up behind the block of Richard Ramirez right there, and Troy Evans Jr. as well. Untouched. Jamario Benson scores, and the Outlaws are in business in their first possession.
That's not easy to do with Krishawn Frazier. Texas Southern Tigers alum. 6'2", 240. He plays good football.
Well, we talked about the challenges that the Outlaws have faced this week with the new ownership coming in and the past owner with the financial difficulties, a lot of players not getting paid, a lot of the clients around town dealing with bad checks. It's not been a fun time, and everyone with the Outlaws. There's hoping that the fans don't take it out on the players, because the players really had nothing to do with it. They're kind of hung out to dry as well. So I can tell you the fans continue to file in here to the First Interstate Arena. And Kozalski getting ready to put his foot into the football.
Jerome Gross and William Gibbs back. William Gibbs, a track star at Houston before he came out to arena football. I think they call him Flip.
Here's the kick. And it's a good one, too, down to the 1 yard line and fielded right there by the Mustangs. Jerome Gross Jr. running that back. Jerome Gross the third, rather, not the junior. He's 6', 185 from Western Kentucky. And good defense by the Outlaws on that kickoff return as they stop him right as he got to the 13-yard line. So that's where the Wyoming Mustangs will put the ball in play for their first possession. They trail 7-0, the clock running here in the first quarter with 11 minutes to go.
Jerome Gross from Baltimore, Maryland originally. Patterson High School, but played with the Eastern Kentucky Colonels in Richmond, Virginia.
We'll see how the Outlaws defense shakes here. Eric Caldwell, the quarterback for the Mustangs, right away finds number 8.
Lou Dorsey is a big receiver. When he went to Illinois, he came out of high school as a tight end because he was 6'6". He actually was nominated for the John Mackey Award, if you're old enough to remember John Mackey for the Baltimore Colts.
Absolutely.
He was that good coming out of high school, but now he's a wide receiver at 6'6" and 223. He's a load.
He's a big target. Caldwell, the quarterback from Virginia Union, 6'2", 230. And he's going to give it up the middle. Little running play, but Dylan Donahue, along with his teammates there to stop that. Claude Davis.
There's a flag late, and I don't know what happened way behind the line of scrimmage.
Ball is resting at the 20-yard line, and if I'm not mistaken, Claude Davis says it is third down.
Gibbs, I think, was supposed to have a seal block, and I think he got surprised.
Well, that's a big infraction against the Outlaws. That puts the Mustangs in business. 1st and 10 all the way down to the 15-yard line. So a running play that looked like it really wasn't going to be of much consequence. And that big penalty against the Outlaws moves the Mustangs in business with the ball resting right at the 15-yard line. Eric Caldwell, your quarterback. Rashad Ridley, the running back in the backfield with him, number 4. Caldwell's big boy, 6'2", 230. Here's the snap. He looks again and finds Dorsey inside the 10.
Nice stick by Chris Rivers, but great throw and catch.
Looks like both teams kind of feeling each other out here and seeing what's going to work in the opening.
The last 2 games, first series in either game, they didn't throw this much. So maybe they've seen something that they're going to attack here tonight. That is the Mustangs. Jeff Luke and Dylan and Claude Davis going to have the work cut out up front. That's a big old line. Joe Oliver and Reese Fain.
Here's the give to Ridley again across the 10. He's gang tackled there by Claude Davis. Got some help by Dylan Donahue. Newly engaged Dylan Donahue.
As of what, 15 minutes
right,
ago?
Right, in the pregame ceremonies, Dylan went over and proposed to his girlfriend McKenna, and we're happy to say she said yes. So the game got off on a very positive note for the Outlaws.
Reese Fain, Joe Oliver, and Wandell Rutledge up front.
All right, big third down now inside the red zone. Caldwell and company, and the Mustangs looking to answer that opening possession score by the Outlaws. The ball at the 7-yard line. Here's Caldwell to give, and then caught in the backfield. That's Bones Bagante.
I don't know if you watched the technique of Dylan Donahue on that play, but that's how NFL players use their hands. They just don't let anybody get into their body, and they just move that line of scrimmage down the line until they can shed the block and make the tackle. Great play, Dylan Donahue.
And another penalty on the play. Looks like holding against the Mustangs on Wandell Rutledge. They will back this up.
Wandell is a big man. He's got an interesting story. This is going to be his last year of arena football. He plays offense and defense, but he's enlisted or taken all his tests to enlist in the Air Force.
Interesting. All right, well, Mustangs are going to try a field goal here. Eric Ruiz, and he splits the uprights. That field goal.
I didn't get to see a lot of his stats at Adams State when he was in Alamosa, but he played all the time. And besides the kicker, he played defense, starter on defense. The Adams State Grizzlies in the RMAC conference. That's where if our local college here in Billings wanted to expand, that's where they could go. Is the RMAC?
I see.
Be an awfully good fit.
And what does the RMAC stand for?
Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference.
It would be a perfect fit.
Chadron, Colorado State Pueblo, Western Colorado, Adams State, South Dakota. In South Dakota Mines, of course, Rashad Ridley is a great story from there. The Hard Rockers. I wanted to talk to him before the game. We just didn't get to connect to see how he got to Rapid City.
So we're delighted to have you joining us here on the CIF streaming network tonight as the Billings Outlaws and the Wyoming Mustangs do battle here at Metro Park in Billings, the big barn, the First Interstate Arena, rocking and rolling with some first quarter action. The Outlaws took their opening possession and marched right down the field and scored on a keeper by quarterback Jamario Benson. And now the Mustangs come right back and answer with a field goal of their own, a 23-yard field goal by Eric Ruiz. And that's where we're right at the present time. 7-3 the Outlaws with the early lead, 7:48 left to go, with the clock stopped here at the first media timeout.
Josh Best and Troy back to receive the kick. We got the big man in the middle now. Claude Davis, in case they need some protection up front, he's a good convoy for the receivers. You know, I wanted to talk earlier to Rashad Ridley because he was from San Diego, but when he got to Rapid City, he took interdisciplinary sciences. So I had to look up what is an interdisciplinary sciences degree. I'm gonna let you think about that for a play or two.
Sounds like liberal arts to me.
That's what it was.
Is it? Okay.
Exactly what it is.
All right.
It's two degrees that you can make one out of. Later.
Okay.
But that's what it is. Liberal arts, social sciences.
So the Mustangs come in with a record of 3-6. The Outlaws at 6-3. The Outlaws tied with two other teams with the 6-3 record. Here's the kickoff, and it goes over the board. It was intended to, Josh Best tried to catch it, but it would be best if he didn't catch that because it went over everything, and that would set him up at midfield.
And he was looking for the ball all the way, didn't see the dasher boards coming up, and over he went.
So that's one of the peculiarities of the Champions Indoor Football League. If you kick the ball over the backboards all the way through the end zone and it doesn't touch anything, well, the other team gets it at midfield. So that's not what you want to do in the kicking department. Set up the Outlaws or your opponent with only half a field to go. So here's Jamario Benson again, the quarterback, with Troy Evans Jr. in the backfield, and there goes Laughing House and Gary Brown. And now Benson's going to run it, and he breaks open at the 20 and goes into the boards at the 16-yard line. Benson's going to keep those defenders honest because he can run, as we have mentioned earlier. And that time,
Danny Gilbert in on the stop from the Bethany College Bruins.
Of course, a big weekend as the teams in the CIF jockey for playoff positions. Just one of 4 games in the CIF this weekend. Here's Benson, sends his players in motion. It's to Gary Brown, who's got the ball inside the 10, right at the 10-yard line, and that's good for a first down.
Yaffe Harvey with the stop. He's a very good tackler as well. Lakeland College Muskies is where he played in college.
I love the nickname. So the Outlaws in the red zone. They got the ball at the 11-yard line. Benson going to run it, and he's right at the line of scrimmage. Stopped immediately.
Tyrone Kelly on the tackle from Newberry College. And Tyrone actually was a 2021 NFL prospect. And, you know, now that we have this Football Hall of Fame, this Pro Football Hall of Fame up here, it makes you wonder the differences because he was a good prospect, but didn't make it into the NFL yet.
Second down in the red zone. Ball still at the 10-yard line. Receivers go in motion. And here's Benson with the pitch to Evans across into the boards at about the 8, maybe at the 7-yard line. He'll be marked out of bounds right there. It'll bring up third down. Third and about 7 for the touchdown.
Harvey, the 5'10", 205-pound defensive back again with the tackle. You know, while Yaffe was at Lakeland, he started 20 consecutive. His last 2 years, he started every game.
So let's see how the Outlaws draw up on third down. 3rd and 7. 3rd and goal from the 7. Benson dancing. Rolls to his right. Looks across the middle, intended for Gary Brown. And he caught it. And the catch is ruled legal.
Did he get his hands under it?
I
That's
couldn't
what I
tell
see
from this angle, but just the reaction from the players and the official. For now, it's a touchdown. We'll see.
Trayshawn Ortiz with the coverage, and he had great coverage.
Well, Benson has to be tickled about how this game has started.
I actually thought he got the ball out a little late, and I thought he wasn't going to be able to get it there.
So, as we expected, they're going to check the replay here. We'll see how our camera folks did on getting this replay ready to go. We're on the opposite end from that end zone, and here's a look at it. Oh, I think he got it.
What a great effort, great effort.
Danny Gilbert didn't think he got it.
No, Trayshawn Artist and Gilbert were in front and behind. That's a great play.
Well, we've seen a couple angles. We'll see if we have one more good look at this.
That probably answers the question we had about how the Outlaws would feel after all the distractions this week. I think they want to.
They're down to business.
I think they want to win. I would have been surprised any other way.
So unfortunately, the CIF had to take over the management of the Outlaws following that last game last weekend. And quickly, Stephen Titus, the group owner representing the group that owns the Wyoming Mustangs, who purchased that team earlier from Pick 6 Entertainment, they stepped up and were immediately approved by the league as the new owner. So in less than a week, new owners come in and they hope to clean up quite a financial mess left behind, but we'll see how that all plays out. The officials still looking at this. They're still looking to see.
Claude Davis kneeling back there where the extra point holder would be, but I know he's not going to be the holder. Boy, 2 drives that the Outlaws made actually look easier than I thought it would be tonight.
Well, that second drive was helped by the kicker kicking it all the way over the boards that set him up at midfield.
Makes a big difference.
The other games going on this weekend in the CIF. Salina takes on Southwest Kansas. That's a big game with playoff implications. Rapid City and Sioux City. Sioux City puts their 8-1 record on the line against Rapid City's 2-7 mark. And Topeka and Omaha. Could the Tropics pull a shocker against the defending league champions? Probably not, but you never know. Topeka comes in at 0-9. Omaha, one of the 3 teams that are tied at 6-3. So here's another look at this. Very slow. I don't see anything here that's going to cause them to reverse their decision. Let's see it one more time.
His hands were under it.
It looks that way. Goes.
Wow,
Does
just off the turf.
Does it hit the turf?
I think his hands were under it.
Officials taking a close look at this. Just the early going, 4:39 here in the first quarter. 7-3, Outlaws lead it.
Even though the Outlaws have scored twice, they know that Wyoming plays defense. They're first in the league in interception returns, interception return average, and defensive touchdowns off of interceptions.
Okay,
so they play defense.
Here comes the.
Oh.
They overturn it. They said they used the turf to help him snap that ball off. So they had a closer look than we did. They were closer to the monitors.
At the 6-yard line, set up a 4th down.
Oh, fourth down. So
is brought to you by C.
We'll see how.
Fire.
So Kalzaski is going to attempt another field goal then, or his first field goal.
Jimmy Kozalski. 1 for 1 in the extra point department. Let's see how he goes in the field goal. This is to answer a field goal that the Mustangs just got in their first possession. Simpkins, the holder. The kick is up.
How about that, Jimmy K?
And it's good. From this angle, it went right over the top of one of the uprights.
I don't know where they found Jimmy K, but I'm liking it.
I like it.
Go get a beer. Media timeout.
Another media timeout. So that field goal by Jimmy Kozalski puts the Outlaws up by a full touchdown. It's 10-3 here in the opening quarter from the First Interstate Arena.
Brought to you by Kiss of Color. Candy and her crew have
So
been
the
bronzing our
game is not disappointed. The Mustangs coming in at 3-6. You mentioned, Rick, the Outlaws aren't the only team with some drama going on. The Mustangs have had their fair share of drama. They're on their 3rd head coach
in 4 weeks. And the fact that they started 0-4, and they're good, that says something at least about the change from Titus. When Titus took over, they were 0-4. Now they're 3 and.
And I think as the owner, the last thing you want to do when you're 0, is to start over from scratch midway through the season. But at some point, you had to make that decision.
And now they're going to the playoffs.
Got to hand it to head coach Cedric Walker, the 3rd man to have that job so far this year. He's got the team straight away. Stephen Titus, the owner, and one of the first things Stephen did was hire general manager Del Shellstad of Gillette to help run the team on a day-to-day basis and to solidify the management, and apparently it is paid off.
Stewart.
Yeah, I know they're happy to get to the playoffs. When you start out 0-4, it's ugly, but they dug deep, and here they are.
Kozalski, the new kicker. Jimmy K, as we're calling him very fondly, will put his foot into the ball at the.
For the Outlaws,
Gross and Gibbs back to receive. Dorsey in the middle.
A kickoff brought to you by ERA.
So Jimmy K puts his foot in the ball. It's going to sail well down inside the 5. And wide open on a great run back is number 2. Jerome Gross,
return
the
across
third.
field,
Wow.
near the 10-yard
The young
line.
Eastern
Give
Kentucky
credit
Colonel,
where credit is due.
you can see why
First down
he led
at
his
the
league
10-yard line.
in all-purpose
Red zone.
yardage.
Check it, 11-yard line.
Well, that's just what the doctor ordered for the Mustangs after just watching the Outlaws march down the field and answer their field goal, the kickoff, and a great return by Jerome Gross. Took it one quick step, broke a would-be tackle, and off to the races. He gets it all the way down to the 11-yard line.
At some point here, I'm thinking we're going to get a dose of Champ Taylor, being his leading the league in carries, and they're leading the league in rushing, but they've been effective with passes here and there as well.
Here's Eric Caldwell, the quarterback, and he gives it right away to number 5. That's Tavius Taylor, Champ.
You won't hardly ever see a better linebacker move than Denarius Antoine just had to avoid a block and just pop the running back in a hole.
Champ Taylor, second in the league in rushing. He's scored 14 touchdowns this year. Actually, 14 rushing touchdowns and 6 passing touchdowns. So a dual threat in his own right. Here's Gross, split out here to the near side. Caldwell fakes the handoff, looks, and he's going to be sacked. What a great job.
2 plays in a row for Antoine.
Denarius Antoine. He jumped right up and had a handful of Eric Caldwell. Down they went. Well, Outlaws haven't had a sack in a couple of weeks, and that's a nice way to back up the Mustangs. So the Outlaws with a big play by Denarius Antoine. Brings up third down, 3rd and goal. Ball's at the 15-yard line.
Jeff Luke wearing number 23 tonight, middle guard over the center.
So here's Caldwell, low snap, picks it up. He's got Dylan Donahue who's going to sack him back at the 25-yard line. And the fans are enjoying that. Something must be happening on that offensive line because the Outlaws two plays in a row.
He just speed rushed him. Dylan's got such good leverage. He's got such long arms.
So that'll bring up 4th down. I said it was goal. They can get a 1st down without scoring a touchdown. You can see on the big screen there the line to gain is right about the 1.5 yards. So the Mustangs backs against the wall here, facing 4th and 25. Caldwell sends his receivers in motion, and he rolls to his left across the middle. Oh, and it's stripped. What a nice play. Jerome
Was that
Gross.
Antoine again? I think Antoine got a hand in there. He dropped into, dropped out of his linebacker spot back into the.
It was number 2, Denarius Antoine, and he's
hook zone.
Loving this. So that was a great defensive set of downs for the Outlaws after giving up a big 40-yard return on the kickoff. It was 2 sacks in a row, and then Denarius Antoine comes up with a strip on 4th down and put the Outlaws in business just shy of the midfield stripe. Clock running with 1:05 left here in the first quarter. 10-3, Billings leads Wyoming. Benson looking for his receiver, and he finds a great catch on the far side, and a nice pass too. That's Josh Best over there with the just had position against the defense, and Benson did a nice job of laying it right there.
And this is probably his 10th play as a receiver. I mean, but that's that speed. Speed kills. And Christian Hunter caught it. I don't know how he didn't get a hand on it. He had great coverage.
Benson has started out with the hot hand here, replacing Charles McCullum as quarterback for the Outlaws in this game. Simpkins in motion. The give is to Troy Evans. No, faked me out. Benson kept it himself and right down to the goal line.
He kind of a read option, pulled the ball out and wanted to follow Troy into the end zone, just about made it.
So that'll bring up 2nd and goal. The ball just short of the goal line. Benson with a great fake that time. I thought for sure Evans had it, but Benson made a great fake, pulled the ball out, kept it himself, went right down to the goal line. So it's just inches away. And it looks like the Mustangs have called timeout here to try to shore up the defense. Or I stand corrected, it's the end of the first quarter. So the end of the quarter ends with the Outlaws knocking on the door again. They lead it 10-3. Both teams come in with plenty to play for as they jockey for playoff position. The Outlaws could finish as high as the 2nd seed in the league, or perhaps as low as the 4th seed. We will see how things shake out. A lot depends on how Salina does this weekend.
There's so many options, so many scenarios that I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to show up when they win and we go again.
Well, the simple math says if Salina wins against Southwest Kansas, they will be the 2nd seed. If Billings wins and Salina loses, Billings gets the 2nd seed. And if Billings and Liberty both lose, well, then the Omaha Beef move up to take the 2nd seed. There's several different scenarios if it all ends in a tie with 3 teams at 6-3 vying for position. It very well could come down to a tie. A lot of it goes to head-to-head competition. And if there are 3 teams tied, if one of the teams has beat the other 2, then that's a tiebreaker there. But we'll let all the experts sort that out after this weekend's activity. But I can tell you that the Outlaws and the Mustangs have both qualified for the playoffs. And many people believe this will be the matchup we have next weekend in the first round of the playoffs, that the Outlaws might be right back here hosting the Mustangs again. So here comes the first play of the 2nd quarter. Benson with Troy Evans next to him. He gives to Evans, and Evans goes right over the goal line. Almost got clotheslined as he went through there, but some big boys up front. Jackson opening a hole along with Mosley, and Evans got the handoff and just scampered right up the middle for another Outlaws touchdown.
Mosley's really hitting his peak. You know, last week he went all game long against Dejon Emery of Sioux City, and Emery was leading the league in sacks. He didn't get close to McCullum last. So I went down to talk to Jordan after the game, and he said he didn't even get a smell.
Here's Jimmy K. Kozalski with the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So that makes the score 17-3. The Outlaws lead the Wyoming Mustangs with 14:15 left here in the first half.
I was checking out stats, and you know, no wonder we lead the league in a lot of passing categories, because out of the first 5 receivers, 3 of them are with the Outlaws, Brown, Laughinghouse, and McGaw. But Laughinghouse got the most touchdowns. Well, part of the reason is they played together 4 and 5 years ago in an Arena Football League on the East Coast. So they know each other really well. I was going to say,
they know each other, and it shows.
It shows. Well, we have just a minute. I looked up Tobias Taylor's stats, and you know, he was Virginia. He went to college at. He was originally a Virginia Tech recruit, but ended up at Virginia Union, the Falcons. But in 3 years in the backfield, he rushed for 2,800 yards, 509 carries, scored 31 touchdowns, 668 reception yards. I mean, this Tobias Taylor is the real deal.
I wonder how he got the name Champ. His nickname is Champ, we're told.
Whatever he wanted me to call him. That's I'd say sir, mister.
Jimmy K is going to put his foot into the ball at the far end zone and kick this away. We'll see if he has a strategy. It's a little squib kick. Goes off a hand, and that's a...
Oh!
That ball is free. Picked up eventually.
You know, they've got good special teams, but this Jimmy, he's got some game.
Yeah, Jerome Gross again, number 2, got that ball, but it was up for grabs, knocked around. The little squib kick bounced right over the head of the first Mustang that the ball got close to, and then it was a free-for-all. So the end result, the Outlaws will be on defense, and the Mustangs will put it in play right at the 16-yard line. 17-3, the Outlaws have the early advantage here. We expected the Mustangs to run the ball, and we'll see if that, in fact, turns out to be their key strategy here. They came in as the leading rushing team in the league. Eric Caldwell, your quarterback. As he surveys the situation, the give is, there's Champ Taylor again, but the Outlaws really doing a good job of bottling him up. No gain.
Rod Jarrett with just about a perfect form tackle.
So apparently the Outlaws thought they were going to be running a bit too.
They've seen the stats, that's for sure.
So Caldwell resets his receivers who are ready to go. Now he sets them again. Over the middle, he throws right along the boards.
Flip Gibbs, the Houston track star.
Nice. I like the nickname as well.
I'm hoping he's the one they call. I was down there interviewing him earlier, and I think they called him Flip. That one of the two, either 2 or 3 was Flip. So I apologize to Wyoming if I have the wrong one.
Okay, 12:33 to go now. It's second down. Second down and about 5. Caldwell surveys the situation. Oh, and he was really hammered. And oh, a great defensive play by the Outlaws, number 11.
That was an awesome
Roderick Jarrett.
Under pressure.
Caldwell that time got laid out on his back too, Outlaws.
Gross got a step on Jarrett. Right there, he happened to drop the ball. But that's as good a ball as Iman Caldwell could throw.
And he was under duress when he was going down as he let that go.
Eddie Hamilton and Demarius Antoine had a twist on, had a blitz on. And Eddie Hamilton took the center out. Antoine nearly got there.
So it looks like the Mustangs will call a timeout here with 4th down. They're facing 4th and about 7. That last play was oh so close. He had the receiver open, but a great strip job. The receiver just couldn't quite hang on. So the Mustangs will face 4th down, and they want to talk it over.
I'm glad to see that the Outlaws are rotating up front. Keep some fresh legs in there. And I think that actually cost them a little bit last week. Those front guys looked like they were just getting tired. They were putting so much into it every play.
Well, the Mustangs come in with some of the better talent in the league. Caldwell, the quarterback, is rated 5th in passing, averaging 71 yards a game. Champ Taylor in the rushing department, 54.9 rushes a game. He's leading the league in that. Caldwell has passed for 10 touchdowns. And as I mentioned, Taylor has rushed for 14 of those.
The QB and the running back are both from Virginia Union.
So they know each other well. Flag flies, Dylan Donahue trying to get a hold of Caldwell. And it's intercepted down.
That ball just hit Dylan Donahue. Had so much pressure that Iman just couldn't get anything on it. Kind of lofted it up there, but it just hung up there.
Eakins, I believe.
Is that Billy?
Number 32, I believe, is who caught it. That's who I have, yeah. We'll see what that penalty is. Officials talk it over. It was 4th and 7. Caldwell let it rip.
Offsides, number 4, the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. We'll repeat 4th down.
So there you have it.
Those are the little things that the first half of the game last week with Wyoming and Southwest Kansas, it was a little like that. It was a little shaky. It was a little rough, a lot of penalties, a lot of miscommunications. But they haven't had that problem tonight.
That was Chris Rivers that was flagged for being offsides for the Outlaws. So that'll put the Mustangs back in business. 4th and 1. The ball is at the midfield stripe at the 25-yard line.
Krishan Frazier came into the huddle and then left again. I'm not sure what was going to be the sub situation because he's a defensive player. Billy Eakins putting some, padding some of those stats on his INTs for the year.
Absolutely. All right, so the Mustangs looking for a yard to get the first down. Here's Caldwell. He's going to rush it himself. Oh, and he's got blockers up front to help him along. Taylor blocking for Campbell, or Caldwell, I'm sorry, blocking for Caldwell, and get it down to the 20. So that was a rather easy first down after the offsides penalty against the Outlaws. So the clock running again, 17-3, Billings leading Wyoming. I wonder what the thoughts are of Stephen Titus, the new head of the ownership group that owns both of these teams. He's only had
He's happy they're both in the playoffs.
He's got only half a week with the Outlaws and most of the season with Wyoming. We'll talk to him at halftime, we hope to. Here's the pass. Caldwell right away finds his receiver, Jerome Gross, and he has a good 5-yard gain down to the 15-yard line.
Iman Caldwell's not afraid to run the ball. He's 6'2", 230. He's a big QB.
So the Mustangs trailing 17-3. See if they can tack on some points here and get a little closer. Caldwell right over the middle. Nice pass. Complete again to Gross.
Denarius Antoine dropped back in coverage, but it looked like the DB maybe didn't pick up on it. Taylor was split out left that time.
So the Mustangs have it 1st and goal. Ball right at the 5-yard line. Thought they were going to run a quick play here. They got right set and ready to go, and now they're going to talk it over. Taylor in the backfield, and the give is to Taylor, who's hit by 2 or 3 Outlaws, and can they get him down? They stop his forward progress down to around the 3-yard line.
First pop by Dylan Donahue got spun off, but Eddie Hamilton was there to finish it off.
And Brashawn Stewart in there as well. So that brings up 2nd and goal. The ball is inside the 5-yard line. Is that the 3? You hear the public address announcer. Let's see, will it be a run? Will it be a pass? Caldwell, he'll give to Taylor right up the middle, breaks it. Breaks a tackle at the 2 and crosses the goal line for the score. 8:26 left, 17-9 now with that. Oh, there is a flag now. Let's hold everything right here.
Gibbs, the wide receiver, just took out about 3 Outlaws.
Holding.
The penalty will repeat 2nd down.
Well, that's a big call. Holding against the Mustangs, and that'll back it all the way out to the 13-yard line. That changes things dramatically.
Well, if you isolated on Gibbs that time, that would answer any question you had whether he is tough. He took on the whole middle of that Outlaw defense.
Head coach Cedric Walker out there, he did not agree with that holding call. He was having a few words to say. So Caldwell will try it now from the 15, and it gets a quick pass complete over at the 12-yard line.
Taylor split left, just kind of a quick flat pass. Billy Eakins was having none of it.
That'll bring up 3rd down. It's 3rd and goal. That holding call in the previous play backed the Mustangs up.
The Mustangs use a kind of a jet sweep, and they've got a reverse off it, but I don't know if they'd call it in this situation or not. But it's been effective for them during the year.
All right, Caldwell surveys the situation over the middle, and he's going to run it, and he's loose at the 10, the 5, and scores.
Untouched.
That was pretty much a coverage run. Is there a penalty flag in that far corner, or is that just, nope. That touchdown counts. I thought there's a logo in that far corner of the end zone. Looks kind of yellow in the quarter, but it's not a penalty flag. It's just the logo. So Eric Caldwell runs it up the middle, pretty much untouched once he got into the open at the 8, and scores with 6:42 to go. Clock is running again.
If we see a replay, I got to see the D line maybe got a little too far upfield.
Ruiz, the kicker, and the kick is good. So that brings the Mustangs within a touchdown. It's 17-10. The Outlaws have the first half lead. 6.5 minutes to go here inside Metro Park, here in the Magic City of Billings. Lady Outlaws take the field to entertain the crowd.
I talked with Lacey Sullivan. I don't know if you know Lacey. She's with one of the local radio stations. But she's worked with us with the football program, whether it's the Yellow Jacket program that we had going, the Big Huddle, or now the Montana Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I believe when I was talking to her, she said that she works with this dance group and some of the production for the Outlaws. So kudos to you, Lacey.
Nice job. The Lady Outlaws have done a great job. I know they've won some awards themselves in the league competition for the dance team. So they help the fans enjoy this full evening of entertainment. It's another good night to be inside watching football. Looked like those thunderstorms were rolling through the Yellowstone Valley right as I was coming down to the game.
We were out watching our granddaughter play softball in a 16U tournament last night. And of course we had an hour and a half rain delay. So by the time the game was over, it was midnight.
And they did get the game in.
They got the game in. And they won it. So all's well that ends well.
So we welcome you to the CIF streaming service, the Champions Indoor Football League. It's the final week of the regular season. Jay Cohn along with Rick Holmes at the First Interstate Arena having some fun on a Saturday night. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast and watching these two teams battle for playoff position. A lot will be determined in this game. But as I mentioned earlier, there's a good chance these two teams might lock horns again next weekend in the first round of the playoffs. 6 teams in the CIF with the best records make the playoffs. The top 2 records get a bye the first weekend. And it looks right now as if both Wyoming and Billings will be playing in that first weekend of playoff action beginning on the 11th next Saturday.
So quarters, semis, and then on the 25th, the finals.
Yep. That's how it's scheduled now, but touch base with me later. The schedule has been a moving target at some. And there's the kickoff for the Outlaws. There's Josh Best with the ball as he crosses the 25.
Nice kick coverage.
Yep. And he gets it right out to midfield, so that's a pretty good place to put it in play for the Outlaws. And if
Wyoming is in their kick return average, they're second in the league at 16-3. And our kick return average here in Billings is about 12-6. So Wyoming does a pretty good job with their kick returns. We have a little work to do.
So you can see the ball is actually on the Wyoming side of the 25, so a little bit better than midfield. Jamario Benson, the quarterback here for the Outlaws. He's had a great first half. And he sends his receivers in motion right over the middle. It was intended for Best. He went one way, the pass went the other.
Wow, did Nate Stewart put a move on Trayshawn Ortiz? Whoa.
So incomplete pass brings up 2nd and 10. And that clock running now. Less than 6 minutes left as we count it down towards halftime.
Jerome Brown, Richard Ramirez, and Anthony Jackson still up front.
See head coach Theo Johnson out there calling the plays for the Outlaws. Here's Benson, flags fly right away. He goes down into the corner and it's caught.
Same route.
That's Nate Simpkins.
Same route.
Well, let's see, there was a penalty flag.
What a great throw for us.
Evans,
backup quarterback.
Evans says the penalty is against Wyoming. Let's see if the officials agree.
I got an illegal defense on Wyoming. That penalty's declined. The results of the play, touchdown.
Nice.
Touchdown brought to you by the Fireplace Center.
It worked once.
Benson throws to Simpkins. Benson to Simpkins. Touchdown.
I love that Nate Simpkins, a kid from Dillon. Runs great,
extra point.
Runs great patterns and has an excellent set of hands.
Jimmy K.
All right, Jimmy K is in to try the extra point. Well, that didn't take long. Right after the Mustangs had clawed their way back within 7, the Outlaws score in 2 plays. Here's Jimmy K, and he splits the upright. So the kicking department in good hands after that last weekend that really may have cost them that game, Rick, last weekend with not having a kicker on the roster as it turned out.
They were 50% on 2-point attempts, so you can say they got a point each. But they couldn't try field goals. They couldn't do anything like that.
And those missed extra points in the second half came back to roost.
Yep. I actually talked to Winston Green a little bit about it. He hadn't kicked since high school. And actually, for squib kicks.
No, he did good.
He did a good job.
So Nate Simpkins on a great pattern hauls in the pass from Jamario Benson, slams into the boards but held onto it, and that puts the Outlaws up 24-10.
I actually think that pattern that he ran before when he spun Trayshawn Ortiz around, I actually think Trayshawn must have been thinking about it again, wondering where he was going to break it off, and he ran right by him. Well, nice route.
I was watching Benson as he surveyed the situation. He was looking for Simpkins the whole way. He knew there was something going on that pass pattern that he needed to check out.
Trayshawn Ortiz is from New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell, New Mexico. And as near as I can tell, most of their programs are JUCO, 2-year programs. But they do have one of the few JUCO bowls in the country, and it's called the Wool Bowl.
The Wool Bowl.
But I couldn't find anything if they raise sheep or what that was all about.
Oh, here, I thought you were going to give us the inside story on the Wool Bowl. Has to have something to do with the sheep industry.
I'm working on it.
Got to believe it.
It's a work in progress.
Okay. So new kicker, Jimmy Kozalski, will kick off here. The Outlaws leading the Mustangs 24-10. Just 5 minutes and 11 seconds left here in the first half.
Gross and
Squib
Gibbs
kick.
back.
Bounces around.
Jerome Gross picks it up.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go.
And great job on
Billy Eakins.
Yeah.
That's how you break down. You don't run past. You break down and make the tackle.
And Gross has had some great kick returns already in this game.
They're a good
Not
kick
that
return
time,
team.
though. Yeah.
I think what did they say they were averaging? 16-3. Obviously, they were nowhere near that time. Nice coverage by the Outlaws. Jeff Luke back in. Eddie Hamilton back out.
So the Outlaws' offense has looked right on target in spite of missing one of their leading receivers and their quarterback.
That's really something when you look down there in the field. You see 3 guys on an 8-man team up front, all with a connection to the New York Jets.
They have some decent pedigree here on both rosters.
Absolutely.
So Caldwell will see if he can get the Mustangs back in business. He scrambles to the left, wide open, but a little bit overthrown. Ball intended for Lou Dorsey, who's looking at the official like they were holding me. They were holding me, but the official says not that time. No penalties.
You know, his school, Illinois, the Illini, Brett Bialema's coaching there now, and I don't know if you remember Brett Bialema, but he was at Wisconsin, then I believe Arkansas, and he was an assistant coach a couple places. But Dorsey didn't get to play for him.
2nd down and 10 for the Mustangs. Ball resting at the 12-yard line. Caldwell calls for the snap, gets it, looking, and now he throws it. Incomplete, intended over there for Gross, who had it for a second, but it bounced right into the stands.
He's going to be sick when he watches this film and he sees how open Gibbs was.
Get a good shot there on the sidelines. How close those fans are right next to those boards. You best be heads up. Might be, you could catch one of those passes. Clock is running, less than 3 minutes. We're working down towards halftime. It's the Outlaws 24, the Wyoming Mustangs 10 in this Champions Indoor Football matchup tonight. Final game of the regular season. Caldwell seeing if he can get his offense untracked. Across the middle, and it's intercepted. Nice. And it's going to be for a touchdown.
Dylan Donahue and Denarius Antoine making a path for him down the sideline when they're blocking.
Billy Eakins again stepped right in front of that, hauled it in, and no one touched him. As he returned that about 25, 27 yards for the pick 6. And Billy Eakins totally psyched on the sidelines. He's had a great game so far. One time he led the league in interceptions. I would assume he still does, but we'll stand to be corrected on that.
Brian Schmidt somewhere here in the arena. I just saw.
Right, he's right over here above the back.
Okay.
So he's the head coach of the Outlaws that had to take a medical leave, and he's back tonight. I'm told, helping the offense out a little bit. Here's Jimmy K. Can he split the uprights again? He's perfect in the extra point department. And that's the 31st point. 31-10, the Outlaws enjoying. There's Brian Schmidt himself looking down right from the end of the end zone, right above the big garage here at First Interstate Arena. Well, that was an impressive interception by Eakins, and then even more impressive on how he didn't bat an eye, just took off running and no one's touched him. Right down the sidelines, got some blocking along the way.
Looked like he was set in free safety spot. He had a corner cover over the top, and he just undercut the route, picked it off, and got a couple blocks in the 5, and in he went.
Caldwell had some time, looked over the defense, rolled to his right, buy himself some extra time. (31-10), 2 minutes and 32 seconds left till halftime. Fans enjoying offensive explosion here by the Outlaws in the first half.
What does Eakins have now? 8 INTs on the year?
I'd have to look it up, but he had 6 early on.
Yeah, so I think that's 7 and 8.
Here's that replay again. He stepped right in front of Dorsey. Dorsey was trying to trail it and knock the ball out of his hands, but Eakins had different ideas, and he'll remember that for a while. A pick 6 by Billy Eakins puts the Outlaws up by 21, 31-10.
Yeah, Wyoming will have to put a stop. They don't want to get behind by 30 in the first half. That's a little tough to come back from against this team.
So it's a tough situation for the head coaches. If they end up playing each other again next weekend, you don't want to show your opponent too much in this game, but both teams still need to win to improve their standing in the playoffs.
I think it's interesting that we're using a backup quarterback tonight in Jamar Benson, and hopefully Chuck will heal up and be there for a playoff game next week. But so they're not really showing all their cards, but Wyoming has to.
And in talking to one of the assistant coaches, you and I, Rick, before the game, they said no guarantee McCullum will be back next week. He might have to take a couple weeks off. He's that banged up. Here's the kick. Fumbled for a second, now picked up by Gross. He's going to reverse his field. Eakins tries to get him along the boards and couldn't. And Gross, he has some quick feet. Broke a tackle, a would-be tackle at the 12 by Billy Eakins, and he gets it across the 20-yard line down to the 16.
It's a good thing Laughing House was on the coverage team. He might have been the only one over there with enough speed to catch him.
Jerome Gross, 6 foot 185.
Taylor put a vicious block on one of the Outlaws here at about the 12 to kind of spring him.
Jerome Gross the third from Western Kentucky. That was a nice, set a couple of good kickoff returns for.
Actually, he's from Eastern Kentucky. In their program, they made a, I was down talking to him before the game.
Oh,
and I
it's
said,
Eastern Kentucky?
When I said, when I was reading your bio, I thought you were at Eastern Kentucky. He said, yeah, Western was our arch rival.
Oh. Okay, I stand corrected.
Well, that's what it says in the program, but I just happened to be talking to him.
All right, well, let's see if Eric Caldwell can get the Outlaws and figure them out. Oh, he's going to be sacked again.
Is that Jeff Luke? Jeff Luke just about.
He tried to strip it from him.
Just about took the handoff. That's that jet sweep I thought they were going to run earlier.
So the Outlaws had that play well defended.
Up front, the Outlaws are looking very good tonight.
Yeah, there's a penalty on that.
Barlow's moved the 11-yard line. Fouls, penalties brought to you by Sean O'Daniel, State Farm.
What is it?
Don't penalize yourself.
So the penalty puts the Mustangs in business down at the 11-yard line.
Did the referee even give us the?
I didn't see. I heard the PA announcer. Caldwell gives up the middle. Nice job on breaking a tackle there.
Good job by sticking Eddie Hamilton.
So the
nice run.
Willie Gibbs on that last run. Champ Taylor in the backfield with Caldwell now.
Yeah, their wideouts actually, when they run that jet sweep, have a higher per carry average than Taylor does, which is probably right because Taylor's got to run for the tough yards.
So media timeout with 1 minute remaining here in the half. 31-10, and the Mustangs have the ball at the 7-yard line. Second and 1, they can still get a first down without scoring a touchdown. We're looking forward to halftime. New owner Stephen Titus will be joining us, talk a little bit about what's been a very busy week for the ownership group that Mr. Titus heads. They now not only own the Wyoming Mustangs now, but they also own the Billings Outlaws. He's here in the building tonight. Helped with the opening flip of the coin.
You know, Jay, it probably doesn't matter that he owned. We had some questions about multiple ownerships in one league, but it probably doesn't matter as long as he's truthful and honest. I think there were just so many unkept promises from the former owners that they lack credibility.
So the Outlaws come into the game tied with Omaha and Salina at 6-3. Sioux City has the top record in the league right now. They are 8-1, and they've lined up that number 1 seed. They will have a bye next weekend in the first round of the playoffs. One minute to go till halftime. They take that media timeout, give everybody time to catch their breath, reconsider the strategy. The Mustangs will have it at the 7-yard line. I love the Western theme in the CIF. We've got the Bandits and the Outlaws and the Mustangs and the Marshals. Then we've got the Storm, I guess.
And my favorite one is the
Tropics?
Omaha Beef.
No, the Omaha Beef. Yeah, that nickname's been around a long time. All right, here's Caldwell. Can they get it in the end zone? The give is to.
Boy, that takes everybody. Jeff Luke.
Taylor again.
Had a touchdown saving tackle on Taylor.
Taylor tried to cut back as he crossed the 5. And Luke was right there. And that'll bring up, well, it's enough for the first down. So it's 1st and goal inside the 5, right there at the 4-yard line. And now the clock is running again. Less than a minute, 50 seconds left till halftime. Wyoming trailing by 21, trying to cut that back down to 14, or perhaps at the very least get a field goal.
I was just looking at our DB, Rashawn Stewart, being from the Bronx, New York. I'm guessing he knows how to hit. Have you ever been to the Bronx?
I've been to Yankee Stadium.
I've seen too many TV shows. I'm afraid to go.
All right, clock running down, less than 15 seconds now. Caldwell, the give to, no, he fakes the give and he's gonna bust it. Did he get in? Hard to, yes, there's the.
He's so big.
He is.
What a nice
big
effort
boy.
at the goal line.
I couldn't tell if he hit the boards right before the goal line, but the official came running in and said, yes, he made it across.
Iman Caldwell. Tough dude.
So with 6 seconds left before halftime, the Wyoming Mustangs tack on another 6 points. And here's kicker Eric Ruiz to try to add the extra point, bring his team within 14. It's 31-16 right now. Snap is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good.
Can you imagine that? 10 foot wide, and they haven't missed one yet tonight. And yet the league average is about 60%.
Yeah, it's deceptive because you look at the, as we've said, you look at those goalposts and go, oh yeah, but they're only 10 feet wide, 10 yards wide.
10 yards.
10 yards wide.
I'm sorry.
And they hang from the ceiling. And like I said, at first blush, it's like, oh, no big deal. But compared to a real real upright, you've got about half the wiggle room there. 31-17, 6 seconds left till halftime. The fans getting ready to enjoy some more refreshments. Take a little break as both teams will head to the locker rooms here momentarily to catch their breath and reset their strategy. Outlaws looking perhaps to get a big return and maybe try a field goal here. There's only 6 seconds left, but we've seen a lot of points in a little amount of time over the regular season.
This kicker, I think they might try that. As long as they don't run around too long, run the clock out.
All right.
Back to receive. I don't see the numbers back there. But.
Josh Best and Evans back to receive the kickoff. Well, it's a squib kick and picked up by the Outlaws in good shape. But I believe the clock ran out.
Yeah.
Denarius Antoine had it.
Boy, he's having a game tonight. He came to play.
So he was not to be denied. He grabbed that ball and did as good as he could, but they got him stopped at about the 8-yard line. So that's where we stand at halftime. The Outlaws 31, the Wyoming Mustangs 17. You're watching Champions Indoor Football action here on the CIF streaming network.
Have you been into the Camplex down there in Gillette where the?
No, I have not.
I've been to a lot of ropings there, team ropings, and it's just a wonderful facility what they've done there. The support buildings, the building itself. Got it. Kudos out to the city of Gillette.
Welcome everyone to Brown's Plumbing and Heating Kids Night. Brown's Plumbing and Heating has stepped up huge with the team.
Lady Outlaws back on the field to entertain the fans. It was a late arriving crowd. I was a little worried, Rick. We talked before the game with all the negative publicity whether or not the fans would come out, and it looks the fact that they have showed up.
That's a nice crowd. I was looking at that on the Wyoming stat sheet, and I'm not sure this is correct. Home attendance average. It says home attendance 4,000.
I think that's the capacity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the average 800. I'm not sure that would be correct. But we'll ask one of the Outlaws staff.
Yeah, I believe I read that. The First Interstate Arena here in Billings at Metro Park is the largest facility in the CIF.
What can you put in here for a football game? 9,000?
Yeah, good question. I'm not sure with the boards around the...
We had over 9,000 in here for the Hank Williams Jr. concert the other night, but the stage was out where the football field is, so these first few rows, you know, they might have got 11,000 in here if they could have sold those tickets, but you can't sell them behind the stage. But they had 9,000 in here for that. I can't repeat what he said about his NFL song, Are You Ready for Some Football? He's...
What I can guess?
You could guess. He said they've won Emmys, they've won TV awards, they've won this, they've won that, and I wrote the blanking song.
Well, it's halftime here at the First Interstate Arena, Metro Park in Billings. And the Billings Outlaws lead the visiting Wyoming Mustangs 31-17. We're going to take a quick timeout, catch our breath. And when we come back, we hope to interview the new owner of the Mustang, or the owner of the Mustangs and the owner of the Outlaws, Stephen Titus.
Absolutely.
So we'll be back with that in just a moment.
That's what I told the refs before the game. They go, well, what do you think about the rest of both teams? I go, whatever call you make is going to be on my side.
Good point. So with the ambient sound in here, I have to hold this real close, but whenever they give me the... So I read where you have family in Billings as well?
Yep.
And so, did you grow up here, or did you grow up
I grew up in Casper, Wyoming, and Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And how'd you end up in Wyoming?
My first job out of law school.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'll let you know. I'll go 3-2.
Okay.
My first job out of law school was in Wyoming, and then I bought the Mustangs about 3 months ago, and we started looking.
Welcome back inside the First Interstate Arena in Billings. We're joined now by Stephen Titus, the owner of the Wyoming Mustangs and now the new owner of the Billings Outlaws. Stephen, you have some partners. You're part of an ownership group, but welcome to Billings. Tell us how this all came about. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, it has. when I bought the Mustangs here about 3 months ago, we had started looking for other markets that we should expand to. And it's simple reasons why, because, you know, you have a lot of these companies that supply things for football, you know, helmets, shoulder pads, merchandise, things like that, that don't really take you seriously if you only have one team. When you start buying double that amount, they start taking you more seriously, start giving you better discounts and things like that. So it made sense from that point of view. The other point of view was looking at other markets. Billings has a lot of businesses that do business in Gillette, Wyoming, and vice versa. Gillette has a lot of businesses that do business in Billings. So when we look at the overlapping businesses, we thought we could draw more sponsorship opportunities to both markets. So when the opportunity came about to buy the Billings Outlaws, I thought it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own this franchise, this team that has a lot of historical roots here in the Magic City, and we made it happen. We weren't supposed to take over till July, but things started going rough with the ownership group very quickly, and we had to take over sooner than we liked. So it's been a long 3 days here in Gillette dealing with problems the players had, problems the partners have, but one day at a time, one item at a time, we're starting to mend things over and be able to get us a championship here in the CIF at the end of 2022.
You said you're in a no-lose situation. No matter who wins tonight, you're going to end up on top. But it has to be a little different to watch, knowing both teams are yours.
It's very awkward, to say the least. You know, I've compared this a lot to owning a NASCAR team, because people are like, how can you own two football teams? But, you know, most NASCAR owners own multiple teams, and their motto is very clear. As long as one of my teams finishes first every year and one of my teams finishes second, I'm happy. I don't care here. Same way here. I don't care who finishes first and second as long as it's Wyoming and Billings.
You say you do have some family here in Billings. Give us a little bit about your background. You said you went to law school, and your first job out of law school was in Wyoming.
Yes, and so I graduated high school in Colorado Springs in 2006. I graduated law school out of Dayton, Ohio in 2014. My first job out of law school was 2014. I was a public defender for 6 months. I then got recruited to work at a private law firm, and then I decided I wanted to make money for a living, so I opened my own law firm, and that was 6 years ago, and it's done really well to where I can have a very expensive hobby like owning football teams. But I can tell you the last 3 months owning football teams and dealing with football has been the funnest, most enjoyable 3 months of my life. I absolutely love this, and I love being able to be here in Billings. And, you know, I can tell you in the last 3 years of my life, if I haven't been in Gillette or been on vacation, I've been here in Billings or in Red Lodge, and those are my two favorite places to go. So I absolutely love this community, and I can't wait to make sure that the Outlaws are here for years to come.
Well, that's certainly music to our ears here in the Magic City, because things weren't looking that great. We had a little rough time and lots of drama going on, but apparently we're very lucky to have you take over. And I know you can see a great fan base here. They're just waiting. And this winning season, as the Outlaws come back to Billings, was off on the field, has been really great guns.
Yes, we have a great team here. You know, we have the caliber championship team. We have a great mix of veterans and rookies. You need the veterans with the leadership and the trust, and the rookies with the ambition, skill, and young muscles and bones to do the things that, you know, make ESPN. And so with that mixture here, it's what championship teams are made of. And Billings has had its ups and downs. You know, we've had our mistakes that have cost us games. But if I can make sure that they're not stressing about food on their table and their paychecks clearing every week, I can get them to focus on football and get us to bring home a championship here in Billings in a few weeks.
Well, we certainly hope that's the case. Both your teams are going to be in the playoffs. And this game got off to a roaring start when Dylan Donahue, one of the local stars, got engaged, and his fiancée said yes, so that was exciting.
I can tell you there have been two gentlemen on this team who have helped me more than anything the last 3 days. Dylan's one of them, and Jeff Lucker is the other. And we just have great kids here, and I'm so happy for Dylan. I was just talking to his dad and his mom down there. Just great people here in Billings. I mean, it's just people that want to help the team succeed. People that don't necessarily care about how much it costs a sponsorship or what happens. It's people who want the Outlaws here for the community, and money can't buy that care and that passion. And we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure we have more kids at the game, more excitement at the game, better promotions at the game. This field looks terrible. We're going to do what it takes to make sure that we don't have players tripping on the end zone next week like what happened last week. But we're going to do what it takes to make this a hell of a show and put Billings on top. We're going to make sure that the teams all around the league and the CIF are, wow, I wish we had the production that Billings does. I wish we had the turnout that Billings does. I wish we had the players that Billings does. And they're going to be jealous because we're going to keep winning championships, and they're nothing going to do.
Well, that's what we want to hear.
But I want to make sure it's clear. If I'm talking to Gillette, Wyoming right now, too, we're going to make sure that we do the exact same thing so Billings and Gillette win the championships every year.
Well, it sounds like a great partnership, and we're very lucky that you stepped in. Stephen, a great time talking with you. Best of luck, and the playoffs look like we're going to be maybe neighbors again next week, do you think?
That's what I was about to say. It looks like we may be doing this all over again next week. I think how things are shaping up is it's going to be Wyoming and Billings round 2.
We'll invite you back next week.
I'll be here.
Okay. Stephen Titus, the new owner of the Billings Mustangs and also the owner of the Wyoming Mustangs, Billings Outlaws and the Wyoming Mustangs. Got teams coming and going. Got a little mixed up there, but Steve, again, thanks for being here. And I know, speak for all the Outlaw Nation, welcome to the Magic City.
There's no other place I'd rather be. This is amazing to be here tonight.
All right. Stephen Titus. We'll be back with more second half action coming up in a moment. Excellent interview. Thank you. Yeah. Welcome back to the First Interstate Arena. Champion indoor football action here on a Saturday night. Jay Cohn along with Rick Holmes. And are we having fun yet, Rick?
Absolutely. I think the least you could say about that interview, whether you learned anything about the teams or not, he's very enthusiastic about being an owner.
Absolutely, and excited about it. And as he said, no matter who wins this game, he's a winner.
Correct.
The officials, he said, when they was down flipping the coin before the game, they said, well, this has got to be kind of weird to own both teams. He goes, well, you guys will be perfect in my book because no matter what the call is, I'll be happy with it. And I liked, he talked long-term about the team, talked about being here for a long time, talked about the great fan base here in Billings, and talked about the need for improvements on this field. And certainly that's the case as this, I guess we'll call this AstroTurf. I'm not sure exactly what this turf is, indoor sprint turf.
It's indoor sprint turf.
Could be.
I'm glad he said he's going to upgrade it.
Right, I was going to say.
That's one of the things, you'd never heard the former owner talk about. And I'll tell you, just by being over in the complex, in the sportsplex, with the team the last few weeks, there was little things like travel bags to put gear in. Theo Johnson would have to go to a high school and borrow them. I mean, you treated the players just so shabby that it's nice to see somebody who cares. I don't know if that's a guarantee that he's going to make it or not, but the players and the fans are going to have a better experience because of it, because of him being involved.
Well, he was certainly a breath of fresh air and seems to be in for the long haul and excited about doing it, and said he hasn't, the last 3 years involved in the indoor football has been the best part of his career. It's the funnest part so far. So, well, you can see the great family entertainment going on here at halftime. The Outlaws lead the Mustangs 31-17. They pass off the CIF as great family entertainment, and it's certainly living up to that billing here tonight, and the fans are enjoying themselves.
Is our lawyer owner gone so I could tell a lawyer joke?
Yes.
So do you know what the good news and bad news, do you want to hear a good news, bad news story?
If you say so, yes.
Bus goes off a cliff. 49 attorneys disappear. That's the good news. Bad news is there was an empty seat.
Okay.
No, I don't want him to come back over. He's not listening to us, is he? No, I really like him. He's young and enthusiastic. He's younger than I thought he would be. I don't know why I thought he was.
And I'm not sure you heard him talk about why Wyoming and Billings and Gillette and Billings are such a good match, but he has a lot of businesses that do business in each city.
Oh, I'm sure.
And lots of potential to.
Energy is a big deal in both states. Agriculture is a big deal in both states.
Absolutely.
Did you ask him what his specialty of law was?
That's for next week.
I see.
He's going to be here next
saving
week. And he promised he would come back for another interview. So,
if you have time, I had a couple things I thought were pretty interesting here. One, there's a player on each team who every week when I look stuff up, I start reading and I go, "Are you kidding me?"
They all just have amazing stories. Some more amazing than others.
Well, this Suleiman is how they say it here. Played at Portland State, but he's originally from Ghana, Accra, Ghana. But he was a 3-year letter winner in football at Spanaway Lake High School. He had a whole bunch of tackles for losses. He was second team All-South Puget Sound, all-league honors as a junior and a senior. Biggest hitter award his junior and senior year. He was the linebacker MVP in the Nike Northwest Elite Camp. I mean, and he comes here from Ghana, and he just wants to achieve.
Amazing.
It's just an amazing story, but the one I found I had to really delve into a little bit was Gary Brown, the wide receiver of the Outlaws. He's from Columbus, Ohio, Westerville High School. He had a brief stint with the Oakland Raiders. I mean, he's that good. He was selected in 2016. He could have won the Harlan Hill Trophy, and he was a first-team All-America wide receiver in a D2 program. Super Region 1 Offensive Player of the Year. He was a Super Region 1 Special Teams Player of the Year. He was the first-team All-Region wide receiver. I mean, if you look at these as a receiver, player, return specialist, he led all of those categories. He led the NC2A Division II with 26 touchdowns, first in the country with 156 points, 13 a game, second in the nation in receiving touchdowns.
Wow.
I mean, he's a great player, and we have him in Billings, Montana. So if the folks wonder if the talent is here, they just got to come out and see it.
I think that's exactly the case. Witnessing the CIF for the first time this year, I'm just amazed at the talent, and the games are fun. Even the games that kind of end up being a blowout on the score, there's so much action going on.
Absolutely.
And you have to keep on your toes, because if you're sitting down next to the field, you might end up catching a football or a player, and they're in the booth with you. And it's just a good family entertainment that they put on the field. And I know the team has really went through some tough times in the last couple weeks with the people not getting paid and the whole financial struggles that the previous owner had. And I think throughout the whole thing, everyone said, I just hope the fans don't take it out on the team. The team, the players are here. No one's getting rich in this league. They're here because they love to play football. And
they love to play football, and they're the ones who got hurt the most. Some of them haven't been paid since May 2nd, and yet they're still here. And Theo Johnson mentioned that the other day, that they had every reason to leave, but they didn't. And he's so proud of them. So, they could go all the way. If they did, boy, what a credit to their character.
Yeah, I put in my notes to play or not to play, because a lot of these players didn't have to play. They could have, as you said, walked and gone, taken their talent somewhere else. But at this point of the year, they got a job to do. They want to see this to the finish. They put their heart and soul into this team in their inaugural season in the Champions Indoor Football League, and they want to see how far they can take it.
They practice every morning. Some of them have jobs here. Jeff, Luke, and I think Eddie Hamilton finish concrete, although I understand Jeff and Dylan Donahue are going to form some kind of a business partnership, which would make sense.
Right.
Because they're best buds from the Jets.
Well, we just saw, if you were watching at halftime just a few minutes ago, they had Mitch Donahue and Dylan Donahue on the field at the same time. Big night for the local product, Dylan Donahue, as he proposed to his girlfriend McKenna right before the opening kickoff. She said yes, so it's been a festive atmosphere for the team. And I know Mitch stopped by before the game, and he did a color commentary for us in our initial broadcast. And he's just a stand-up guy. I know he really enjoys watching this. I asked him, why didn't you buy the team? Because he sponsors the team, might as well. And he goes, I didn't know they were for sale.
No, and he
might have put in a bid had he known that.
He did say something that made sense, and that's get some local ownership involved as well that have some accountability.
Absolutely.
But I think Steve Titus sounds like he has all of that.
He has family here in Billings, yeah. Says his second favorite place is Red Lodge, so we like to hear that. All right. The Outlaws kick off. Jimmy Kay, the new kicker, puts it in the end zone. And here comes
3 yards deep.
Gross out, and he stumbles right as he gets around the 10-yard line trying to break.
Rod Jarrett just about had him on the 5, but Billy Eakins finally
and there is a penalty flag down. We'll see what that's about.
Usually not good for the receiving team, but who knows?
I was going to say, where that flag is laying on the ground, there wasn't hardly any Outlaws down there yet covering the kick. No flag.
The block is deemed legal.
Oh, you heard the explanation. No
right.
Flag on the play. So we start the second half. The Wyoming Mustangs have the football just shy of the 10-yard line. It's
First
31 to 17.
18.
31 to 17. The Outlaws enjoy a 14-point lead here at the half.
Chris Rivers out there on defense. Stewart out there. The Bronx Bomber from Norwich University.
Both teams had success offensively. The Outlaws actually got a pick 6 on the defense. That is one of the differences in this game. And their defense also came up with a couple sacks that forced a field goal. Here comes Caldwell. He's going to run it, and he's tackled right there as he gets to the sideline.
Oh,
Speaking
of Brashawn Stewart, he took the brunt of that 225-pound hit.
Yeah, that's not really a fair matchup.
Caldwell picks up 6 or 7. Nice play. Pulled the ball out of Taylor's belly again on the read option and went to the corner. That's one thing a little bit different in this league that Dylan Donahue told me about. When you're in professional football in an up position, you can kind of move around a little bit. Here, they have to stay right over the top of the guard.
There goes the receivers. Caldwell looking. And it's complete right down to the 20. Looks like it'll be enough for the first down. Pass complete to Lou Dorsey, the young man from Illinois, 6'6", 223. He's a big target. That's good.
Darius Antoine and Billy Eakins on the stop. Yeah, you know, for a wide receiver here, and to come out, I mean, there's some tight ends that are fast enough to be wideouts in the NFL, but not many.
So Caldwell brings the Mustangs up to the line of scrimmage. They trail 31 to 17. Clock is running here just underway in the third quarter. Caldwell surveys the situation, gets the snap. Will he run? Will he throw? Oh, wide open and no one even around.
Who fell down over there? Number 4, Chris Rivers.
William Gibbs is the intended receiver, but Chris Rivers may have stumbled on this carpet that you
It's
look at
about
the
right
field.
where he
there's
stumbled. That's
there's
true.
quite a few bumps in the field and
That's
little.
Mr. Titus was just talking about that.
Yeah. Well, that was great that he, basically committed that they've got some work to do to get this field back into top-notch shape. And I'm sure that's music to the ears of the Outlaw players, not to mention the fans here inside the First Interstate Arena. Caldwell on second down gives it the running back to Taylor. Not much running room there. Gets right past the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 3. And it'll bring up third down and about 7. Champ Taylor from Notre Dame College.
Real interesting story there. It used to be an all-girls school.
Really?
All-girls Catholic school in Euclid, Ohio.
All right, big down here, 3rd and 7. Mustangs trying to get the second half started with a scoring drive. Caldwell intends and completes the pass.
Right in the
William
crowd.
Gibbs again. Yeah.
Nice toss.
But
about a yard short, maybe?
I was going to say about just a yard short, maybe less than a yard. So the Mustangs trying to keep their drive alive. Get the opening kickoff, and they have maintained possession and moved it right out to the Outlaws' 21-yard line. Eric Caldwell, the quarterback of the Wyoming Mustangs.
He's had a sneak a couple times, but obviously this isn't that.
Give to Champ Taylor, and he did not make the first down.
Donahue had quarterback responsibility. The other two up front just closed it down.
Big play there by the defense for the Outlaws.
Corners came up, linebacker came up. They were gap sound.
So once again, the Outlaws defense puts together a defensive stand and turns the ball back to the offense. That's exactly how the Outlaws drew it up on the chalkboard at halftime. We're going to stop them and go down and see if we can score. Great defensive stand there by the Outlaws. It was 4th and less than a yard. The give to Taylor and was not to be. So here's Jamario Benson, backup quarterback who's been playing the whole game. He looks quickly, finds Gary Brown inside the 25 and smacked into the boards at the 23-yard line, but across midfield. And the Outlaws keep the ball moving.
You know, if you don't have McGaw and Laughing House is being covered, how nice is it to have a Brown to go to?
Right.
I'm kind of watching Tyrone Kelly over there on the right defensive end, Newberry College rookie. Chili's is his favorite restaurant, and he loves the Steelers, but he admires Joey Bosa, who's not a Steeler, so I couldn't figure that out.
You mentioned Gary Brown. He comes in averaging over 41 yards in receiving per game. Benson tucks it in, threw it that time to Brown a little. Benson couldn't decide whether to run or to throw and saw Brown cutting across the middle and just threw it a tad high. Couldn't collar that one. And that'll bring up 3rd down. It'll be 3rd down and about 5 for the Outlaws.
Krishawn Frazier took some abuse in the middle that time. Tyrone Kelly had a great game last week from his end spot.
Troy Evans Jr. talking things over with Benson in the backfield. Benson gets the snap. He's going to run it or throw it. Overthrows everyone down in the far corner. Josh Best was over in that area.
Looked like he was running an over route, but the secondary stayed home.
So that'll bring up a 4th down now.
There weren't any holes.
Can the Mustangs stop the Outlaws and repay the favor? That's how we started the second half. The Outlaw defense came to play and stopped the Mustangs, and now we'll see. This could very well be a field goal attempt. It's going to be a field goal. I see Nate Simpkins in there as the holder.
From Western Montana College to the Bronx, New York. We have
Really?
them from San Diego, California. We have them from everywhere.
Our new kicker, Jimmy Kozalski, tries. This will be nearly a 40-yard field goal.
He's kicked a 48.
Snap is down. The kick is up. And it's good. Snuck it in the inside of the upright. And a 40-yard field goal by new kicker Jimmy Kozalski.
Is he perfect on the night?
So far he is. All the
I don't
extra
want to say
point
that.
at 2 field goals.
I don't want the booth to jinx him. That's awesome.
So that expands the Outlaw lead, 34-17. They lead by 17 now.
I was talking to Coach Johnson. I said, you're going to have a kicker by the weekend. This was on Thursday.
He said, I hope to.
He says, I hope so, but I can't get him a contract. So I don't know what the holdup was. So we didn't have any bio on him. We didn't know if he was going to be here or not. So I wish we'd had a bio. We'll have one by next week.
He might not have been able to get him a contract because he wasn't sure who the owners were that were going to sign that contract.
That's very likely. Very likely.
So if you're just joining us here on the CIF streaming network, it's third quarter action from the First Interstate Arena here in Billings at Metro Park. It's 34-17. The Outlaws lead the visiting Wyoming Mustangs. And it's been a dandy. They lead it by 17, the Outlaws do, but the Mustangs have come to play. I would say right now the difference in this game has been the defense. We had a pick 6. The Outlaws defense has stopped Wyoming twice on potential scoring drives.
Yeah, the Outlaws have taken Mustangs out of their game a little bit because they don't usually throw. I don't know how many times they've thrown. We don't have our stat man here, but more than I've seen them in recent weeks.
They've been the top rushing team in the league, and that's what we expected.
And
again, maybe they're not playing all their cards in this game, knowing they might very well be here next weekend in round 1 of the playoffs.
Correct. Yep. I see Troy Evans on coverage, Eddie Hamilton, Billy Eakins down here.
Well, we know
down to receive, I'm not
Jerome
sure.
Gross, number 2.
He and William Gibbs have been down there. Flip Gibbs have been down there all night. If Flip was the right one. I guess I shouldn't say that.
Don't be so flippant with the nicknames.
That's right.
It's Gibbs and Gross who are back there.
There you go. We're safe. See, that's why you're a pro and I'm not.
I don't know about that. Right now, at this point, I want to give new kicker Jimmy Kozalski the game ball. Although backup quarterback Jamario Benson might fight him for it right now. Those two players have really stood out for the Outlaws' effort. There's the kickoff.
Nope.
Oh, what a kick. Went right out of bounds at like the 2-yard line.
But if it bounces over, is that where?
Yeah, that's where it's going to be played, right there. Maybe at the 1-yard line.
Wow. He just earned the football. I don't care what Jamario does. To step into a new team, first time, I don't know how long it's been since he kicked.
Yeah,
but if he played football last year,
some of the other sponsors.
That was exactly how they draw it up. So they give it out to the 5-yard line, I guess, if it goes, but it bounced right at the 2 and hung a left right over the boards. That was a great effort. Maybe he did his homework and knew exactly what you're supposed to do.
I'm guessing. He might have some IFL experience too. We'll find out. We'll have all that by next week. We didn't know he was here till tonight, so.
I was coming up the back stairs and saw number 34 passing and went, must be the new kicker, because so far all the kickers have had number 34.
Right, Luke Daly had the last one.
Yeah. And the run play that time to Champ Taylor, who was ridden out on the boards. Right as he got over the 10-yard line, they mark it at the 12. That'll bring up second down and about 4 yards to go for the first down. The Outlaws trying to get this ball back after the kicker pinned the Mustangs down deep. With the first play, they got it out, give them a little breathing room. Receivers in motion. Here goes Caldwell.
throwing it deep, and it's intercepted. Great defensive play.
And that's Jarrett,
Roderick Jarrett, yeah.
Boy, he went up and high pointed that one.
Caldwell had his receiver. Jarrett got under the ball, made up for some lost time, and that's the second interception of the game for the Outlaws. The first one for Jarrett, and he is jacked up.
That's kind of the so far the temp or definition of the game. That's just not Wyoming's game. As nice as that pass was, good as the protection was, the coverage was better.
Great coverage by Roderick Jarrett. Here it is again. Watch him make up for lost ground. Ball was just a little underthrown. Intended for Gibbs there, but Jarrett was able to make up ground, go high, and get the ball for the Outlaws. Here's Benson on the run with Evans blocking for him. He's still loose. He's going to go. There goes a flag flies. Troy Evans Jr. blocking for Jamario Benson as they came through the line. I think that is going to probably come back. Just the reaction by the Outlaws players.
Still going to be a first down.
They're talking about the block that was made right there, but what?
The wide receivers made some great blocks.
I'll tell you.
Laughing House and
instant offense here for the Outlaws. We saw them score on only 2 plays in the first half in 1 possession. Here, that was their first possession after that interception.
During the run, we have an illegal block in the back, number 21 of the offense. That's 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It'll replay first down, be 1st and 1.
Troy is livid.
Replay first down at the 17-yard line. 18 rooping.
We could see that again.
6:05 left.
Of course, that's probably not a good idea to put an official on the spot.
Jackson was given the official his interpretation as the official was trying to make the call. And Evans thought it was a legitimate block, but it's for naught right now.
First down and 1.
1st and 1, and the give to Evans. He crosses the 15, hurdles the player at the 20, and is out of bounds there at like the 21-yard line.
Boy, he was focused before the game, wasn't he?
Yes, I was going to just say we watched him go through his routine before the game, and he was all business.
Had the earplugs in and didn't want any distractions.
So that's a first down for the Outlaws. Clock is running now. Down towards the 5-minute mark of the third quarter. It's Billings 34, Wyoming 17. Jamario Benson, the quarterback, looking and finds Laughing House, who's been rather quiet so far in this game, but he's over the midfield stripe down to the 24-yard line.
Nice delivery. The coverage wasn't that bad. Christian Coppin was there, and Danny Gilbert was there.
Laughing House comes in as the top receiver in the league, averaging 53 yards a game, and he also has 16 touchdowns to go along with that. But he's been rather quiet in this game so far. Benson looking deep along the boards. Ooh, he had Josh Best open, but overthrew him. Best had broken free.
Laughing House had run the same route, and there was kind of a pump fake there, and that opened Best up, just overthrown. I got to tell you a quick something funny. When I was interviewing Christian Hutter Coppin from Canada, he's from Laurier University in Ontario. Their school used to be called the Mules, but they wanted to change it to the Hawks, so they went back from jackasses to golden prey.
Laughing House with the catch, and he is not going to be brought down. Took 4 or 5 players.
He's awful close, isn't he, to the first?
I think he got it. His extra effort got him that. That was the same pass that Laughing House, same play that he hauled in that pass 2 plays earlier. Vince decided if it worked once, let's go back to it. So the Outlaws have it at the 16-yard line. Laughing House and Josh Best, along with Gary Brown, the receivers. Evans in the backfield next to Benson.
And the give is to Evans. Breaks tackle at the 10, breaks to the outside at the 5, into the boards at the 4.
Boy, didn't he get in?
No, he did not.
Ah.
That's just the 5-yard line he crossed, but he has the whirling dervish move, as you call, Rick.
His O-line loves him. We were talking to them last week, and they called him the whirling dervish, and they just love him, love blocking for him. They're getting some really good blocks inside tonight from their receivers. Josh Best took the middle linebacker out of the play.
Here's Benson, faked the handoff, still on his feet at the 5, and he's knocked
did he
into
put a shoulder in the...
they're going to call him down on the boards at about the 2.
Myron Mounds and Christian Hunter Coppin. They took some abuse.
Second down, ball being placed right there at the 1-yard line. Benson shows that he's a little physical when he
put
gets
a shoulder down and just
absolutely
drove him backwards. Nice effort both ways.
Clock running down to the 2-minute mark here in the third quarter. Billings Outlaws 34, your Wyoming Mustangs 17.
Look at who's playing defense back there, Champ Taylor.
Yep.
In the middle.
Benson gives it to Evans, and Evans squirms his way and may have hurt himself. He's a little slow getting up there. It's like a hand or something. Might have landed on the ball.
Brought down by our Canadian, Christian Hunter Coppin. That Canadian school is an evangelical Lutheran seminary school. But I thought that was funny in the 40s or 50s. They got named the Mules, and the student body here in the woke time frame now that we're in didn't think that was appropriate, so they changed the name to the Golden Hawks.
The
so
Golden
they went
Hawks.
from being a jackasses to golden prey.
So Evans came up a little gimpy there. Looked like he hurt a hand, may have knocked the wind out of himself, and he motioned to the bench, forget it, I'm staying in here.
Pediatric dentistry.
Here in the final 2 minutes of the third quarter, Theo Johnson, head coach, interim head coach for the Outlaws. But it'll be interesting to see what they do when they go to the playoffs. If Brian Schmidt, the head coach that had to take a medical leave, is back today, he's in the building and fans have acknowledged him. I'm wondering if he'll come back as the head coach and Theo will step aside and become the defensive coordinator again, or how that's going to transpire once the playoffs roll around.
It's an important issue because when Chuck was in there, when McCullum was playing, he called all the plays. Theo Johnson, of course, he's on the defensive side of the ball, so he wasn't as familiar with the offense when Brian went down. So now, with the Chuck's not in there, I wonder who is calling the offensive plays.
You see Dylan Donahue and the Outlaws bench enjoying themselves on the sideline, and why wouldn't they? They're up by 17.
Too early. I could never do that. Those guys have more fun than I did, I guess.
You couldn't dance, or you wouldn't be celebrating this early in the game?
All of the above.
Both are applicable.
Actually, that's not true. I was a pretty good hoofer. I like to dance. Not that kind of dance. Two-step.
There's
waltz.
the time left in the game.
Swing.
Third quarter, minute 35. So Benson sends his receivers in motion, and throws it to
Laughing
House, but it was 10 feet over his head. And that'll bring up second, or is it, I can't see the yard. Okay, it's fourth down. It was stuck between first and 4, and they couldn't get it to flip over. So fourth down and goal. Outlaws have the ball at the 3. Looked like they were going to march right in.
What's Theo going to do? Kick it or?
Nope.
Try to punch it in. No, he's
They're
going to try to punch it in.
Clock running. Less than a minute to go here in the third quarter. Benson says, I'm going to run it. Oh, now he's going to try to reverse field. And
guess who made the big play? Champ Taylor.
There he is.
Both sides of the football. What an athlete.
The only person that's upset about that is Jimmy Kozalski because he wanted to kick a field goal.
Well, his stats are still 100%.
Right.
There's that.
So the Outlaws are turned away at the 3-yard line. They had it 1st and goal. A couple of would-be running plays that the Mustangs
Evans
stood
looks
up.
like he's okay.
Defensively, Wyoming is led by Timon Lachlan with 62 total tackles. We haven't mentioned him too much, but he's been in on a lot of plays.
He averages 9 a game from the secondary.
And the other defender we haven't mentioned too much is Mounds from Akron.
The Zips.
Yeah. Here's Caldwell. Oh, the ball is tipped straight up in the air. It's a free-for-all.
It's still up there.
Oh, and it's caught by Denarius Antoine.
Wow. How many times was that ball tipped up there? Maybe 30 feet at one time.
That looked like it was up for grabs, literally.
Somebody got a hand on it to start with. Was it Dylan or was it Jeff Luke? Somebody got a hand right at the line of scrimmage.
We'll get to see that again, I'm sure, but someone
cow.
put the hand up, knocked that ball straight up and went straight up. It went higher than the top of the goal posts, the uprights, and came down, and it was like, who's going to get the rebound? Here it is right here.
Oh,
it was Antoine.
Denarius.
And he's the one that
and
catches
he's the one that follows it. It's touched by 4 Outlaws before Antoine
That's exciting.
catches it. That looked like a rock skipping on water.
It almost looked like a volleyball play. It was up once and up again. And who's going to?
Wow.
So that adds to the Outlaws' lead. The touchdown on the deflected pass by Denarius Antoine adds another 6 points. It's 40-17. The Outlaws lead the Wyoming Mustangs, and there's still 13 seconds left in this third quarter. And things have gotten out of hand quickly for Wyoming.
Turnovers in this league, in this game, sure do it.
So Jimmy K, the new kicker, in to see if he can continue the perfect night. Snap is down, hold is good, and so is the kick. Absolutely, Jimmy Kozalski.
I don't know what they paid him, but you suppose at the end of the game he could ask for a raise?
Theo goes, where were you last weekend? So the Outlaws, as we head to the fourth quarter, lead this one 41-17. They outscored Wyoming 10-0 there in the third quarter.
I'm hoping he's not a soccer player. See, I Googled him as a football player. I couldn't find anything.
I see.
I didn't put soccer in there. I'm afraid to. Soccer players shouldn't be on football fields, should they?
Only if they're kickers. Actually, there's quite a few good soccer players that could play for a lot of football teams.
Yeah. The girl that came up here and kicked for, who was she kicking for? Rapid City?
I believe so.
She was a good kicker.
Well, the fans here are getting their money's worth tonight. The Outlaws lead this one 41-17 as we enter the final quarter of action. We'll see how the other teams do, but right now the Outlaws definitely have wrapped up. It appears to be a home field for the first round of the playoffs. Here's that play again. Tip once, tip twice, three.
4.
Antoine says, come here, I've got this.
Gosh, darn it.
And he gives the ball to a well-deserved fan. Awesome. That's Stephen Titus, the owner.
That's Titus.
That's how to get some brownie points with the new owner. You give him the football. So he might be in for the game ball too. The new owner may have saved the day for the team.
Well, that's a good point. Obviously, he spent more money than anybody else has.
That was a great replay. Tipped up how many times? 4 times. And Antoine, who was responsible for tipping it up in the air the first time, was there to pay it off.
Yeah, Mark Donahue and his crew at Production West are getting it done with the cameras.
Absolutely. Great job again, fellas.
I don't know what to think about him, though. He told me the other day, he says, you have a great face for radio. I'm not sure what, I think I know what he meant. That's why there's no camera over here on us.
Here's the kickoff. Kozalski hauled in inside the 5. This is Gibbs, I believe.
Gibbs.
And he gets it over the midfield stripe. So good job returning that. As we mentioned, the Mustangs have a good return game, and we've seen it deployed here tonight.
Average 19 yards of return. Josh Best showing he can tackle and play offense. He can catch the ball and dish out a lick.
You know, these players want to go both ways. It's
true.
You know, like wasn't it the old Arena Football League where the players did play both ways when it originally started?
Yes,
and
they did.
Most of the players in the roster are listed in dual positions except for maybe the quarterback, but the running backs also are running back / DBs. Well, let's see if the Outlaws can have another defensive stand, or perhaps the Mustangs can get untracked. The give is to Taylor. Champ Taylor crosses the 20 before he's taken down.
Chris Rivers in on the stop. No room, boy.
I was going to say they've done a nice job with stopping Taylor.
Taylor just is not reaching his average tonight. Unless he breaks a big one, he'll be well under his average. Outlaws did a great job of scouting. Harris now in at one defensive end. Ladarius Harris.
2nd down and 8. Here's Caldwell going to run it. And he's hit right as he crosses the line of scrimmage.
Boy.
Denarius again, Antoine.
Isn't he having a game?
Yeah. So he might be in the running for the game ball too. Might have to get more than one.
I don't know when the Mustangs watch the film, whoever's supposed to be handling him, how they're going to grade out. He's been in an awful lot of plays.
3rd down. Mustangs facing 3rd and 8. Ball at the 20. Oh, that would look like a false snap. The snapper did a kind of a fake snap and then snapped it. So illegal procedure called against the Mustangs.
Taylor was out. Jermaine Berry was in the backfield as a running back.
So the Mustangs are backed up another 5 yards. Right at the 24-yard line. That's how many yards they have to go to get into the end zone. They trail 41-17, and that clock is running. Once that clock starts running, these minutes go by pretty quickly. Caldwell and company facing 3rd and 12 now. He overlooks the defense. Unloads and is, nearly intercepted. Should have been intercepted by Eakins. Can't believe he didn't get that. It bounced right. Look at him.
Antoine can't believe it either.
He goes, that's all me. He had that. It hit him right off the numbers.
They're giving him some love. Hey, that's okay. You'll get the next one.
He's had a pretty good game, I'd have to say. Might,
2 picks so far.
Might have to cut him some slack.
One pick 6, and he's had some really good sticks, bringing a runner down.
So it brings
empty backfield.
Yep, 4th down, empty backfield, as Rick pointed out. Caldwell and the Mustangs say, come on, let's get untracked here. They haven't scored here in the second half.
He's right there.
Pass over the middle. Oh, there it is, Dorsey.
The big man, I think he got it.
I think he got it, and I think he got the first down as well.
6'4" stretch, and I think he got it.
There is a flag
throw.
down.
Nice play.
Illegal defense.
Of the defense. That penalty is going to be declined. The results of the play, first down.
Nice throw, nice catch. For as big as he is, Lou Dorsey hasn't had I'm not sure if he's been there all season or not, but in 4 games,
Ball is placed at the
11-yard
11-yard line, sets up a
Caldwell and company now with a first down with the ball at the 11-yard line.
Claude Davis over the center defensively now that Harris is in.
There's the Gibbs, who busts across the 5 and is hammered into the boards.
There's that speed of a track star. He was a high hurdler. He set records.
Really?
Every level at the University of Houston, that's all he did. Never played football.
That is amazing. Never played.
4.28 40. I mean, he's a burner.
The Mustangs can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Line to gain is that the 1. Caldwell. There's Gibbs again. Just got a quick opener up the middle and across the goal line. And the Mustangs get off the schneid here in the second half. Their first points of the second half as they claw a little closer, 41-23 on that running play by William Gibbs, the running back from University of Houston.
No quitting these guys.
So again, with the playoffs looming large next weekend, both of these teams playing this close to the vest with an eye towards who we might be playing next weekend. We'll see.
2-point conversion coming up. Jermaine Berry in again. Gibbs in the backfield.
So they're trying to add on 2. Caldwell looks, buys some time, throws it over the middle. Oh, and a great defensive play made right there.
Rod Jarrett.
Is this a final, Mark? Is that final? Well, we just found out Salina defeated the Southwest Kansas Storm tonight 36-13. So that means Salina, the Liberty, will get the second seed, which we kind of expected. 36-13 again, the final in that game. So that means Salina is the second seed. Sioux City is the top seed for the upcoming playoffs. If Billings wins this game, and right now it looks very much like they will, that means the Outlaws, according to my math, would wrap up the third seed.
So the semis, providing the Outlaws win next week, well, either one, whoever wins next week's game would most likely go on to play Sioux City then.
If we're the third seed, yes, we'd be the 1 and 3.
1 and 3.
However, all of this is subject to check because I'm not passing myself off as an expert on the CIF playoff rules. But as I understand it, that's how things stand right now.
It's been interesting calling these games, hasn't it, this year, though, to learn all the different nuances about the game. I mean, it's really an exciting game to watch. If people haven't seen it, they ought to come out and look at it at least one time.
And, you know, it's known for its offense, but we've seen some tremendous defense here.
Absolutely.
Not just tonight, but the game last weekend that went right down to the wire was a defensive 2 interceptions by Sioux City in the last 3 minutes of the game that turned the tide.
Right. Last night in Montana here, I don't know if Wyoming has, or whoever's listening to this broadcast, has 6-man football, but last night in Montana there was an all-star game with 6-man.
I saw the highlights,
6-man players, and it's a lot like this. They're just 6 people, but everybody's eligible, everybody's in motion. It's a real fast-paced, exciting game. Lots of open field tackling.
Couldn't do anything without our great sponsors, Jacobson Contracting, and also tonight.
So the fans that made their way down to Metro Park inside the First Interstate Arena definitely getting their money's worth here in this final regular season game for the Billings Outlaws, their inaugural season in the Champions Indoor Football League. And right now it looks like it's been a successful venture on the field. 7-3 would be the Outlaws record if this league stands up. The kick is hauled in down at the 5 by Evans, who jumps up right on the boards. That's great.
He's taking a siesta there.
So that was a decent kickoff by Ruiz.
Absolutely.
Evans took it in the end zone and was able to run it out to about the 15-yard line, it looks. And the Outlaws offense looking to get untracked. Jamario Benson's done one heck of a job coming in to replace Charles McCullum, who's considered, if not the top quarterback, one of the top 2 in the league. He's got the most touchdowns.
And for the second week in a row, Jordan Mosley just handled his spot as an offensive guard. He's just playing lights out the last 2 weeks.
There he is right there, big number 52. So Jamario checks his receivers. 8 minutes and 55 seconds left here in the game. The give is to Evans, who cuts back across midfield, still on his feet at the 25. A couple of stiff arms, and he's still on his feet down inside the 15.
There's 5 Mustangs.
And there's a penalty flag. Now that was a couple of quick stiff arms there that.
He's just an athlete.
He's pretty violent. That was pretty violent.
I think I told you last week, he didn't care how he gets yards. He didn't care if it's return yards, receiving yards, rushing yards, all-purpose yards. He just wants yards to help the team win.
So offsetting penalties. It looks like they'll move it back and do it over again. So that negates a great individual effort by Troy Evans. A couple of flags flew due to some temper issues. Players trying to mix it up there. Benson wants to hand it off. Now he keeps it, crosses midfield, and into the boards right at about the 20-yard line. So he picked up 5 yards, still another 5 to go. More importantly for the Outlaws, who lead at 41-23, the clock is continuing to run.
Sadat Suleiman is getting perturbed at that read option. He's right there, either taking responsibility outside, but they're just a little quicker than he is. But he's right there playing great defense.
So the Outlaws with a 2nd and 4 now. Ball just outside the 20-yard line. Benson looks to give it to Evans, who cuts it off right tackle and gets it across the 20, right down near the first down marker, right near the yard to gain.
Yaffe Harvey again with a stop.
The other specimen out there is number 81, Tyrone Kelly from Newberry, 6'4", 270. He's going up against Jackson on the line there.
And he had a really good game last week. He had a couple sacks. I think he had 3 tackles for loss. He's a very good player. But you got to credit the O-line tonight for the Outlaws. They're just moving the line of scrimmage
Mosley, Ramirez, and Jackson. They are a tough trio to deal with.
You got Christian Hutter-Coppin, Trayshawn Artis, Danny Gilbert, and Myron Mounds in the secondary.
Outlaws going to call timeout here as the clock was ticking down, and a little confusion in the backfield as they were having a group huddle. And Theo said, let's just talk this over right now. So here come the Gatorade crew. The kids enjoyed their chores here on the Outlaws bench. So right now, it looks like the Outlaws will be home again next weekend in round 1 of the playoffs. And very much looks like it'll be the Wyoming Mustangs back. So what a present for new owner Stephen Titus.
Both teams.
Both of his teams will face off not once but twice, the second time in the playoffs. And of course then it really matters. Not that this game doesn't matter, but that one's for keeps.
Who would have thought that too when Wyoming started 0-4?
Right.
Who ever thought they'd make the playoffs?
Chronicled the rough road that the Mustangs have had this year. Started out 0-2, fired their entire staff, got a new coach. They went 0-4, changed head coaches again, and
now they won 3 out of 7.
They won 3 out of their last
6. Yeah.
And they come in with a record of 3-6.
3-6.
All right, back in business. Benson look out. Tyrone Kelly just about had him from the back. Inside the 5 and running is Gary Brown. I think everyone thought the other guy was going to knock him into the boards. He just kept running. Nice pass from Benson. Brown found the open space and just motored his way down the sidelines for the touchdown.
Yaffe Harvey got there, but you're right. I just think the secondary thought the linebacker was going to make the play. Linebacker thought secondary was going to play, and nobody did. But you can't take anything away from Brown.
Here's the replay. Right to Brown. Caught it at the 15. Went down one hand. Kept going. Hasn't touched the boards yet. 3 players tried to get him.
Trayshawn Artiste had the best shot. Did you see Jordan Mosley's block at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, it was a good one. All right. Here's Jimmy Kay, the new kicker. Snap is up. Oh, we may have missed one. There went the perfect night, but we'll cut him some slack. It was just a little wide to the left. Didn't miss by much.
And we didn't jinx him because we didn't say perfect. We didn't say, you know how you don't want the booth to be saying he's perfect on the night and then miss one. I don't know that Yaffe Harvey's. In the games I watched, he didn't play middle linebacker a lot. So I'm hoping that they don't have some injuries over there. But Yaffe, the last 2 series, has played middle linebacker.
And I mentioned Tyrone Kelly, the big lineman, 6'4", 270. He just about got to Benson that time. Yep. Benson no more had let that ball go, and he took a shot from Kelly. But Gary Brown did the rest, dancing along the sidelines after getting a great block by Mosley. We could say the Outlaws are enjoying themselves tonight. 47-23 as they open a 24-point lead now over the visiting Mustangs from Gillette. Well, hopefully the fans here in the Magic City will come back out next weekend and enjoy some playoff football here in the CIF.
Did I hear the announcer say that Theo Johnson came and played with the Outlaws way back when, like 15, 16, 18 years ago? Because I think he came here and actually played with the Billings Mavericks.
I think you're right.
In 06.
All right, here's Kozalski kicking it off. Little squib kick bounces off one of the Mustang players right at the 25-yard line. That bounced right off of number 17, Danny Gilbert, who was quick to pounce on that loose football.
The Bethany Bruin.
So the clock is ticking down, just outside of 5 minutes left here in the ballgame. 4th quarter action from the First Interstate Arena here in the Magic City of Billings. And the Outlaws have pretty much had their way with the visiting Wyoming Mustangs. Outlaws took the opening kick, marched right down in their first possession, scored, and haven't looked back since. Wyoming was able to answer that opening touchdown with a field goal, but since then, it's pretty much been all Outlaws. Caldwell gives up the middle.
That's another one by Antoine.
Yep. Gibbs hit immediately once he crossed the midfield stripe at the 25.
Eddie Hamilton's being subbed in now, and Ladarius Harris is being subbed in. And the Outlaws just don't lose much up front when they sub them in.
They're deep.
They're really good players.
And you know, in this league where you play 10 regular season games, you need some depth because everyone's got to get a little breather. Everyone's going to get banged up a little bit. And they don't fall off much once they go to number 2. Okay, Caldwell looking over the middle. Oh, nearly intercepted by Antoine again. He had it.
can tell you that
really dejected over that.
I can tell you the reaction of the Mustangs that watched the play. They were sure he had it.
Denarius has been man on the spot.
You know what we just mentioned Eddie Hamilton. When I was interviewing them, I was talking to him and Jordan Mosley at the same time. And Eddie has a psychology degree. Jordan has a business management degree, but he was actually the psychology guy in the room.
All right, the Mustangs trying to tack on another score here. The kid to Gibbs, and he's going to be hit in the backfield. Oh, but he breaks the tackle and reverses his field. Finally, Denarius Antoine gets him. He ran a long way for no gain.
What good pursuit.
His athleticism let him escape what was going to be a loss on that play. But you're right, Rick. The pursuit by the Outlaws was tenacious.
I don't know if that was Luke or Eddie Hamilton over there, but they certainly disrupted the play. 4th and 11.
All right.
We haven't seen Taylor here in the 4th quarter, have we?
No, now that you mention it.
I think it's been Jermaine Berry the whole time. Now we have Gibbs back in the backfield.
Caldwell
Ooh.
running for his feet and wide open in the end zone. Oh, the defender for the Outlaws got turned around.
Rashawn Stewart. But I tell you what, Ladarius Harris got held big time. And I'm sure that happens every play.
Well, Caldwell bought himself some time with some quick feet in the backfield. Here comes the replay on this. Caldwell, you can see, just fell down. He was beat on the play. The Rashawn Stewart was Outlaws defender there, but he got turned around and his teammates come over and give him a little pep talk. Don't worry about it.
I don't know if Eakins was supposed to rotate over or not, but there was no help over the top, so he was on an island.
So the Mustangs score with 2:08 left to go here in the 4th quarter. Caldwell looking again and overthrows his intended receiver Lou Dorsey in the end zone as they went for 2 on that.
Chris Rivers with the coverage. Pressure also by the front. Tough spot for Eamon Caldwell. You know, he's been harassed all night, but he really is a pretty functional quarterback.
Well, his stats show that he's a force to be reckoned with.
Our stat man deserted us tonight.
Right. As we mentioned earlier, Caldwell came in with 10 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns. He did have 10 interceptions on the year, and the Outlaws have picked off 2 or 3 tonight that I can remember. I don't have those stats right in front of me, but we expected the Mustangs to run a little more, and with Taylor really having trouble getting untracked here, they've kind of abandoned the run here in the second half. Of course, down by 24 points. Now they are a little closer at 47-29.
Looks like Nate Simpkins, who's going to play some defense, going to be a corner. Claude Davis comes back in, looks like to go to middle guard. See what happens after the
I will say this, the kickoffs are the most exciting part of, there are a lot of the kickoffs are not that exciting, but in this league, you never know. Here's the kickoff right at the goal line. Evans muffs it. That gets across the 5, breaks a tackle, and bounces into the boards at about the 17.
He's got that skip down, Pat. Jumping over tacklers.
He's disgusted with himself how he muffed that ball in the end zone. But he knew what to do with it once he got a hold of it.
Yeah, the coverage kind of ran by him, so actually it worked out pretty well for him. It could have been a lot worse.
So we're right at the 2-minute mark, and the clock is running in the waning minutes. Billings 47, Wyoming 29. There's Evans having trouble getting a hold of that ball, but then as he gets loose, watch this move, and he jumps right into the boards. He got a little help.
Myron Mountains just overran it.
Harvey was the one bumping Evans up into the boards there. Yaffe Harvey, one of their Wyoming's top defenders. Here's the give. This is Evans again. Gets across the 20. I'll tell you, Troy Evans, a little gimpy there. He's been a workhorse tonight. He's had a lot of tough running yards. He's returned kicks.
Yaffe Harvey is hurt too.
Don't like to see that here in the final minutes of the game. Minute 4 now. The clock is stopped with the injury on the field.
Looks like an ankle, or hopefully it's not a high ankle sprain. Well, still can't say enough about Jackson and Ramirez and Mosley tonight. They've just flat moved the line of scrimmage about anywhere they wanted to.
As soon as the game is over, we'll be able to talk with one of the Outlaws officials about the playoff scenario, so stick around after that. Clock is stopped here with immediate timeout with 1 minute to go.
Looks like they're going to bring Taylor back in. Play in the middle. The rest of the secondary looks like it's going to stay the same. Trayshawn Artis, Christian Hunter-Coppin, Danny Gilbert.
So the Lady Outlaws delivering some merchandise around the First Interstate Arena. Last minute of this game. Both of these teams looking to advance to the playoffs next weekend. So right now, Sioux City has lined up the #1 seed, and Salina, with their victory tonight over Southwest Kansas, has locked up the #2 seed. And Billings, with this victory, will, I think, lock down a 30 seed, and Omaha will walk away with the 4th seed.
Like we got the injured player out, and again, Champ Taylor's playing in the middle, replacing Harvey.
All right, the clock will start, I should say, with this snap of the ball. Jamario Benson has done one whale of a job filling in for quarterback Charles McCullum. Evans runs into a wall of players, just what he needed after being banged up in the previous play. Ran into a wall of defenders as he got right near the line of scrimmage. Ball resting at the 18-yard line. Outlaws need to get down to the 22-yard line of Wyoming to pick up that first down.
Didn't look to me like the Wyoming team was going to cover the pass at all that time. They're just going to play the run, knowing that the Outlaws may not throw the ball, but they're going to.
Benson's looking deep. Intended for Simpkins, but Simpkins ran into the board and the ball flew into the stands.
You understand the rule in indoor football. In the football, you teach it.
Well, Danny Gilbert took a fly over the.
Right. Ouch. You know, those are padded, but I still think they leave a mark.
It looks to me like I'm hoping he had a cup on. He hit real awkward on that board.
Head coach Theo Johnson getting a good round of applause here from the Outlaws fans. 47 seconds left here now, the final minute
as the Mustangs and the Outlaws.
We got to try a field goal.
It's 4th and 10, and they are going to try a field goal. Jimmy Kozalski. The snap will be held at about the 12-yard line.
Donahue's an up back. Antoine doing the snapping. That's a change from a couple of weeks ago. Antoine's doing it all tonight.
Simpkins with the hold. Kozalski's kick is up, and it's wide left. Might as well try it.
Might as well.
Might as well try. Never know. It could come in handy. You know.
He still had a good night.
Yeah, he definitely has been. It's kind of been a pick-me-up for the team to have a kicker come in with a lot of confidence and just, you know, has a little swagger to him.
An extra point miss and a field goal miss is not exactly how you want to end the game, but he's had a good night.
Clock is stopped with 40 seconds left in this game. The Outlaws looking to put a bow and a ribbon on top of their regular season. With this victory tonight, the Outlaws will improve to 7-3 on the year. Their inaugural year in the Champions Indoor Football League.
For you folks down in Wyoming, if you get a chance, thank Wandale Rutledge for what he's about to do after he retires here this year, joining the Air Force.
Caldwell Gibbs, and hit right as he got the ball was Gibbs. That might have been close to a safety, but they'll probably give him forward progress.
Was it Ladarius Harris?
Yes.
See, they just don't lose a lot when they bring those guys in on the D-line.
Ladarius Harris almost had him in the end zone. They landed in the end zone. They gave him forward progress out to the 1. So that will keep the clock moving with no gain on the play. And we're down to the final 20 seconds. Caldwell in his own end zone. His team trails by 18, 47-29. And the clock is ticking. I don't think they're going to snap it. And that'll do it. They decide just to hold on to the football. So the Billings Outlaws hand the Wyoming Mustangs a 47-29 loss here. And both teams will now see what their fate has in store for them as we move to the playoffs next weekend. Rick, this was a good tune-up for the playoffs, don't you think?
Especially with everything that went on this week. Both teams, you know, the former ownership of both teams, you know, shorted them. Had some issues with paychecks for about 3 weeks now. Wyoming had to move out of a hotel. So just lots of things going on, but the players stayed. You just have to give them an awful lot of credit. And if we had to pick a most valuable player to who to give a game ball to, boy, you could pick a lot of them tonight. But the new kicker showed that he has the ability, Jimmy Kozalski. But defensively, if you just had a defensive award, Denarius Antoine played one whale of a game. He was all over the place. And Billy Eakins with a couple of picks moves up the ladder to stats. He's at the top of the list now. There's a couple of them up there with 8-9 picks. So just all around a really good effort.
Absolutely. We're joined now in the on the broadcast by Kyle Schick with the Billings Outlaws. Kyle, it's on to the playoffs, huh?
Yes, sir.
You've been taking a look at the scenario in the playoffs. How do we stand?
Yes, sir. We've been keeping a pretty close eye on it the last couple weeks. And as of right now, we're the 3 seed, so we'll be back here next week. Whether or not we'll play at the Metro remains to be seen. But with Salina beating Southwest Kansas and us losing to Salina just a couple weeks ago, it looks like it's got us playing Wyoming. First week at home, And if we win there, we probably go to Salina next week.
So a do-over from this game.
That's about right. Yep.
That was kind of the thought going into it, but we weren't sure how all the teams were going to end up. So what are your thoughts about playing the same team twice in a row?
Yeah, I know all the guys were really hoping for a bye week, get some time away from the game with everything going on. But, we played Wyoming twice now. We've watched all the film. We know what they have for us. So we'll definitely be ready for it, and it's on to Salina from there.
And how about Jamario Benson coming in, backing up Charles McCollum, and just had a great game both on both sides of the ball, the team did.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, we watched Rio in practice. He gets to practice, so we know he can go out there and sling it. He's a mobile guy. He's our jack of all trades. We can plug and play him wherever. Great guy, and if he's our guy next week, we're confident that we'll get the win.
So those top two seeds, Salina and Sioux Falls or Sioux City, we've had good games against both those teams. It could have gone either way.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, all those games, just a matter of a couple plays, execution. And I know, especially from the second time from Sioux City, we definitely got a chip on our shoulder. If we get to meet them again, they're not going to get out of it unscathed.
And the team attitude going in, we well documented the struggles of the ownership, and we got a new owner in town that seems to be very upbeat and excited about things. What's the attitude of the team going into the playoffs?
There's a lot of uncertainty going on right now, but I know between the guys and us, we're just worried on the next day. You know what I mean? If we got practice, if it's film, whatever it is, we're just focused on working for each other, putting the time in. Whatever's going on upstairs is going to sort itself out. But all these guys come in and put in a great effort, and, we're confident going into the playoffs that we're going to be just fine.
Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All
Go
right.
Outlaws.
Kyle Schick with the Outlaws front office. Boil it down for us, and looks good for the Outlaws moving into next week. Switch microphones here just for a second. So the fans are milling about, thanking the players. Look at that. Jimmy Kay getting a world of attention. The new kicker, Jimmy Kozalski, who really had a good game here for the Outlaws tonight. So you heard it from Kyle Schick, the assistant with the Outlaws. Looks like the Outlaws will have the third seed and will host a playoff game next weekend. Right now it looks as if that'll be the same team that we played tonight, the Wyoming Mustangs. But we'll wait for the official word on that. Kyle did mention they weren't sure if the game would be here at the Metro, so I'm not sure what the options are there, but that's what he said. We will see. There might have been perhaps a conflict. We'll see but right now the playoffs for the Outlaws start next weekend here in Billings. Any final thoughts, Rick, as we wrap this up tonight? This game did not disappoint. I wasn't sure if the Outlaws were going to come in and sleepwalk through this, or if they would be a little down because of the problems in the front office, but
or
I
how
was
many
impressed.
of them would be here.
Exactly.
So, and Tyrone didn't add to his touchdown total tonight, but he caught a few passes. He's averaging 54 a game. Probably didn't average that tonight. Gary Brown had a great night. Taylor, defense kind of had him bottled up all night. Champ's a great athlete, played both ways. Charles McCollum, of course, didn't play for the Outlaws. And Caldwell, I don't think he might have got over 70. He's averaging about 72 yards a game passing. He might have had a few more tonight than that, which would have, I guess, if I had to pick something unusual about tonight, it would be that
right.
They tried to throw as much as they did. And
we're not sure if that was on purpose to try to.
Well, they couldn't run it.
They had a tough time running it, and so then you go to the next best thing. But you wonder if they just weren't playing a little patsy there, not wanting to, give the Outlaws that much practice against their running game. But we'll see. At any rate, it's a successful inaugural season for the Outlaws on the field. They finished the regular season with 7 wins and 3 losses, and will go in as the third seed in the CIF playoffs that get underway next weekend. There's your final score. Billings 47, Wyoming 29. For Rick Halmus, I'm Jay Cohn. Thanks for joining us here on the CIF Streaming Network. We'll see you again next weekend.